linking up. Oh man. Alright. Yeah, we're live. What's going on, guys? So, got off work a little early today. And went for a good 4-mile run. And decided, hey, I was going to go ahead and hop on here. And continue the journey of painting this list that I'm taking next week to a tournament. So, as y'all can see, arrayed before me, I've got 3 Obliterators, 2 Headquarters, and 10 Cultists. Now, I do need to paint Necrosius. I'm actually waiting on him to arrive in the mail. And technically, I need to actually paint my 40k Arimon, but I do have a 30k Arimon that I can just kind of glue to a 40 mil base. So I'm focusing on the stuff that I absolutely have to paint. And then Arimon's going to be like a secondary, like, if I can get to them, I'll paint them. But other than that, I'll just go ahead and use my good old 30k Arimon that I've been using for a while. So the only thing wrong with him is that he's on the wrong size base. So right now I'm actually shaking up the paints I'm going to be using. So at this point, I've actually base coated everything. I've gone ahead and done all the washes. So everybody is good to go and ready for me to highlight. So we're in the highlighting stage right now. Sorry, my wife's texting me. So she might call me here in a minute, and I'll probably safe, not dig. But yeah, so we got those paints shaking up. Gotta shake up these guys real quick. Oh, I need a green too. Where's my gray at? There's my gray. And then I need a green, which is it Nurgling green that I use? I think it's Nurgling green. Sorry. Trying to get situated. Alright, so we're shaking up all the paints right now. Oh, so many. So how's everybody doing today? So if you guys have been paying attention, they just released the new ITC rules packet. So you guys can go take a gander at Yay Packet. Now it is a beta, meaning that it is subject to change. I know that it's more or less finalized, but a lot of people are actually already noticing a bunch of kind of loophole-y things with it. So I would imagine it's going to probably go through a couple adjustments before it's actually finalized. But is that white? That is white. I need that white too. I got a bunch of eyes that I got to paint today. So I'm just right now getting these kind of pre-mixed. They're not going to be fully mixed until like I really need them. But yeah. And then I'll kind of show what the models are right now that I'm going to paint. So at least get these to the point where I am good to go. So I always like to start highlighting trim first. So I'm actually going to start with all the, a lot of these guys have a gold trim. So I'm going to actually start with my gold first. So let me go ahead and kind of give a gander at what we got going here. So this is my obliterator that I handmade. And so hopefully you guys can tell. I know I have the light ring that might actually make it look a lot brighter than what it is. But these guys have all been washed up. So you can see they're all darkened up. Real nice. And so we're going to start off with armor trim. This right here is actually a normal Terminator, but I'm actually going to use him as a Terminator Lord for this week, mainly because I didn't want to paint the actual Terminator Lord model that I have, because he's a lot more complicated, so I wanted to kind of keep it a little easier. Now, I do have to wash his cables back here, but I actually have to paint this cable right there, so that's probably the first thing I'll start out with, is finishing up the cable. And then all my cultists for this squad are going to have blue. They have blue with brown and then green trousers. So I know you guys can't really see the trousers, but the trousers are green and the boots are all gray. So, but that's basically the cultist scheme that I went with for this squad of 10. Now, I try to do squads of 10 painted the same way, and then I can mix them up if I wanted to like make them look like a hodgepodge. That's just kind of the way I do it. I know a lot of people like don't like doing it that way. They like to have everything kind of uniform. But for me, cultists are like just, they are a hodgepodge of dudes, right? So I'm not too worried. I like to have, like, just do groups of them. So if a group of 10 are all painted the same way, then that way I can split up the groups of 10, still have them, uniform. And then if I want to do like a giant squad of 30, then I can just kind of mishmash 3 different squads together, and voila, there we go. So I'm starting off with highlighting. I'm going to start off highlighting the cultists here. And so I've just got a little bit of gold here. And I'm going to go through, hit their amulets, hit their shoulder pads, because I just kind of, I did Balthasar gold just for the trim of the shoulder pad. And that's really it. Oh, and then the other armband. And so I'm just going through, and I'm just touching those little bits. So this should be a pretty quick process. I don't really like this brush for that. I need a nice thin brush. And so if you guys are joining me for the first time, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad that you guys have found me, and hopefully you guys enjoy hanging out. If you've been here before, well, welcome again. So these guys I did not do any copper or gold on, so I'll just kind of shove these guys off to the side. So as I go through models, I like to just kind of put them in a pile off to the side. That way I know which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. It's just a way for me to keep track of them, because I'm really bad about doing a lot of models at once, so hence why I don't think I get anything like really accomplished. But to me, it feels a lot more like I'm doing a lot more than I really am. So as I hit these dudes up, I'm just going to add them to my pile here. And then I'm going to go through the headquarters and the obliterators. And this step for the highlighting will be done. The next step's probably going to be probably do the silver, just because it's quite, well, I should probably do gray, actually. Mostly because the boots and the heads of these dudes I did with gray. And so if I hit them with gray real quick, that way when I do the silver highlights around like the lenses and stuff, it will cover up any over highlighting I might accidentally do, So I'm just kind of going through, hitting these shoulder pads. I'm really, really excited. It's been a few weeks since I've played a game. I did that Chaos Chat with TJ last night, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It's actually getting a lot of hits, so which is awesome. And I greatly appreciate TJ coming on the channel again. So he's a lot of fun to talk to. He's a really, really good guy. So if you guys ever see him at a tournament and stuff, he's very welcoming. So, definitely go up, say hi, shake his hand. So don't be weird, though. Don't be weird. But he's super, super nice. So we talked a bit before and after the show, I know he was busy driving, but he took the time, and he just kind of wanted to ask, what list I'm running and how I'm doing, any events I'm going to go to, and whether or not I plan on going up to his area, because we're both East Coasters. So I'd love to make it up to an event and meet up with him face to face one day. Not in the cards right now, but definitely something that I would be interested in doing eventually, so. But he's definitely a super chill guy. So, all right. So I've gotten all the gold trim out of the way on those guys. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit this Castler. Now this guy actually has quite a bit of trim. So this might actually take me a few minutes to actually get through. But, and hopefully you guys can see this guy. So he's actually going to require a little bit of concentration. That way I don't mess up. My wife gives me a call. I might have to go for a bit, but I will be back. So I'll just end the video. Probably delete it, start another video. But I just wanted to do a live stream today. It just felt like the thing to do. Get off work a little early. Drink a espresso. Went to Krispy Kreme after my 4-mile run. And got a iced espresso. And it was really, really delicious. So I've probably got quite a bit of energy from that. But I'm happy to report I have not had an energy drink in now 2 weeks, so which is a huge milestone. I am known for my energy drink consumption, so the fact that I have not drank one in 2 weeks is actually a massive, massive achievement. Now, I've not quit caffeine. Definitely have not quit caffeine. I'm a caffeineaholic, but coffee I think is a hell of a lot better for me than energy drinks, you know. So it's been pretty awesome. So, and I will say I actually do feel a lot better, you know. It was kind of rough going there the first couple weeks. My body was definitely going through some withdrawals for the stuff that's in energy drinks, I think, more so than the anything else. So you guys can see I'm highlighting just the tips of the armor plates and stuff on this guy. So the only reason I do this, because really I could just leave it and I don't think most people would notice, but it's to add shine back to the golden areas. Because once you wash it with like Agrax, I do Nuln Oil or Agrax Earthshade depending on like what I'm trying to do, you know. But it super dulls it out, and it makes it look dingy and cool. Like I really like the effect that it does, but it loses that luster that you kind of expect from metal. So this is just a kind of a way to get that back on there a little bit. Now I would not do this if I was doing like a Death Guard model. As a matter of fact, when I do Death Guard models, I'll do like a very light highlight real quick, and then I just grime the hell out of it, because the highlight is really nice because it makes just a little bit of the metal show through the grimy areas, almost like, you know, like just something that's been slowly getting worn down, but it's not 100% gone. So, but yeah, I'm just kind of going through and just hitting the edges of all these armor plates real quick. And so thank you guys for joining me once again. I know I say thank you a lot, but it means a lot to me to have people tune in and hang out with me. I'm not known for my paint streams or my painting. I'm getting more and more known for the chaos chats. But while I do enjoy talking about competitive 40K, and I do enjoy playing some competitive 40K, I'm finding myself more and more enjoying a good paint. Like building models is definitely probably my favorite part of the hobby in general. I love green stuff. I love building, but painting some of my custom creations I love doing. Some models I don't like, these cultists right here. I don't like painting cultists, and I'm sure a lot of people don't. They're just kind of boring, you know. But And so he's almost done. Once he's done, I will go to the Terminator / Terminator Lord and do all of his trim, and then we'll do these obliterators. And then, so I always like to pick one color and just kind of go with it after I'm done the base coat. So, you know, because I'm done the base coat on all these dudes, I'm going to pick a color because I use the same color scheme on everybody. And then that's how I'm going to do this. Just one color at a time. And so there we go. He's highlighted. So it's just a little bit of luster back on the metal. Go ahead and set him just off to the side there. And we're going to go ahead and grab the next guy. This is my Terminator Lord. Yes, I know, he's a basic Terminator, but I explained that I don't want to paint my Terminator Lord model because he's a lot more complicated and I'm trying to actually get these things done. So, I wanted to paint whatever Terminator I painted. I wanted to paint one that I really liked, and this is probably my favorite one that I made. So I wanted to paint him first, and so at least for the time being, he might be my Terminator Lord until I actually paint my Terminator Lord model. You know, because nobody's gonna argue. I mean, he's still a Terminator. He's still on a base. You know. Hey, what up, Dave? Well, the Cultists in Blackstone Fortress look a lot cooler than the normal ones, at least. But yeah, I agree. Cultists are definitely boring. They're just so tedious. That's my problem. The other problem is, you know, when you paint a Cultist, you're painting 4 points of a list. It's like painting a Gaunt, you know. So I know a lot of people have really quick ways of painting Gaunts, but Gaunts, you know, they have a lot of the same surface area. You can really get away with just like doing 2 colors for all of them. But Cultists, unless you're like really not picky, they have just so many little like tidbits and leather and pouches and whatever. So but yeah, no, I get it, man. 100% get it. But yeah, it is lame because it's like 4 points of a list or 3 points. You're like, oh yay, I just painted, like, painting these 10 models is 40 points out of 2,000. That's neat. It's just a very tedious process. But thank you for the like, whoever, I just saw the like go up. Yeah, no, I agree, man. There's way too many little tidbits on them. Especially if you're, like, anal retentive. And you're like, oh my god, look at these pouches. And oh, look at this. And oh, look at that. Like, it's like, so annoying. So once I finish all this trim, I'm going to come back and hit the hoses on this Terminator here, because the hoses I did not complete. So it's something that I just noticed when I started doing the highlights that I had missed in my base coating. So I'll have to come back and actually do that. But yeah, so hopefully you guys had a chance to look at the new ITC packet rules. They're pretty neat. I'm part of the TO group, so we got to see them a few hours early. On our Discord channel, you know, I couldn't really share like what was in the packet, but I could kind of hint at a few of the things, and yeah, there's actually a good discussion going on there. So highly recommend that you join our Discord channel. It's Heretic Wargaming USA. Down there at the bottom of the screen there. If you haven't used Discord, it's basically just like a chat messaging service. It's pretty much all it is. But it's a lot of fun. We talk about a lot of fun things. We got a meme channel, because, you know, memes are awesome. I like memes. So, but yeah, hopefully you guys got a chance to look at the ITC packet. It's definitely going to shake up the meta, so. Hey, what up, K2? You're kind of new? Well, I'm glad that you chose Chaos. Chaos is the best, bar none. I mean, we might not be the best as in, like, the strongest, but we're the best because we're the coolest. So, alright. And so now I've got all the armor trim on the Terminator hit up. So, like I said, this is basically just a way to add some luster back to the metal bits after you wash them. This is just a personal thing. If you're, like I said, if I was doing Death Guard models, I really wouldn't be doing this. Mostly because Death Guard models I really like to be super dingy and grimy. But really depends on what style you're trying to go for. But I really like adding that luster right back to the edges of the metals. And if anything, it just makes it look like scuffed. So some cool things you can do with metals, like after you've done your wash, is like you can actually like take a really light brush and kind of like just scrape at it, and it'll add like scrapes and things to the metal. So I do that a lot with silver. It's really good with silver. So, and I'll look at the chat here in a second. I saw it just move. I'm just trying to get around these eyes real quick. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, Death Guard is actually my favorite. It's the army I came back to the game to play, and to this day they're still my favorite. I'm highly looking forward to the Psychic Awakening book for them. I know we haven't learned any information as far as like what book they're gonna be in, but guarantee you when that book comes out, you're gonna see a lot more videos on my end about them. As a matter of fact, last night I went ahead and bought 10 of the Forge World Deathshroud Terminators. So they can double as the 40k Deathshroud Terminators too. And some people like the aesthetic a lot more. They're a lot less demonic than the 40k ones, but they still have the same general like holding giant sides and stuff like that. So, but I went. I will say I probably did not order the real ones, so we'll leave it at that. But I'm really excited to get them. Now the reason why I'm ordering 10 is, one, I wanted a whole squad of 6, and the place I went to, I was able to get them for a pretty damn good deal. So they come in squads of 5. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just go ahead and buy two sets of them, and then that gives me more or less all the Deathshroud Terminators I'll ever need in Everdom. So I don't think I'll ever need more than 10 Deathshroud Terminators ever. So, but yeah, Blightlord Terminators are really freaking cool. They're not my favorite unit in the Death Guard Codex. I kind of flip-flop between the Plague Burst Crawler and the Foul Blight Spawn. The Foul Blight Spawn still, in my opinion, is the best unit in the book. He's just so brutal. Like, if people let him do his thing, he will just kill things. And so, now, I would argue, he's not that great right now, mostly because Space Marines are a thing. And Space Marines love to bring Eliminators. Now, Eliminators aren't great at killing a Foul Blight Spawn, especially if you keep them out of line of sight. But if a Foul Blight Spawn cannot make it to the front lines to do his dirty work, then, yeah, you know what? It's like a waste of 77 points. So, and I mean, you can use Cloud of Flies to make him untargetable, so he can still go up to the front, because snipers don't ignore rules like that. Stuff like that, but, yeah. But Foul Blight Spawns are definitely my top choice of that codex. And then Plague Burst Crawlers, I think, are still just really good. So, if anything, they're just incredibly durable, and they just do Plague Burst Crawler things, you know? Like, sit on objectives and just shoot things. Which is good. Both are good things, right? You gotta hold objectives to win. So... And so right now we are just getting this Obliterator trimmed up. And Obliterators have a lot of trim. So if you guys are new to Chaos models have a lot of trim. And this is probably the most tedious part of any Chaos model ever. This is also part of why Helldrakes are probably the worst model in the entire game to paint. Because seriously, Helldrakes have more trim, I think, per square inch on that damn model than anything in the entire game. I was starting on 3 Helldrakes, and then I kind of put them off to the side when I saw the new Grey Knights. I was like, yeah, these aren't going to be seeing the table anytime soon. Which really sucks, because I finally got 3. Got them for a real good deal, too. I'm a big fan of buying secondhand models, so whenever you can, buy secondhand. Give those models a new home and save a few bucks on the side, you know. We still got to support GW, but you know what? When I'm spending 40 bucks a book for like 2 pages of rules, I don't feel too bad when I go buy a buddy's used models that he's getting rid of. So, and I see that you did type K2. Give me a minute, man. I'm almost done with this first obliterator, so I'll show you guys kind of what he looks like once I get there. But I'm super excited for the Psychic Awakening for Death Guard, so I am preparing. I am buying more Death Guard stuff that I don't have, because I have 10 Blight Lords. I don't have a lot of Plague Marines, so that might be a bad idea. I might need to go pick up some secondhand Plague Marines off of eBay. Like, just buy up a bunch of Dark Imperium ones, you know, or something. But we'll see. We will see. Alright. And I just got to do the top of him, and this one is done. And so yeah, I got off early. It's a long weekend because of the holiday, Martin Luther King birthday for us federal workers, and yeah, get some painting done. You know, got to get this tournament list going. I felt bad because the last tournament I went to, I went with like almost entirely unpainted army, but also I got kind of I mean, so you guys saw the video. I was not feeling well that day, so, and there we go. Yeah, they might not be the best, but you know what? Sometimes playing this game is not about playing the best army. Sometimes it's about picking the army that you really love and then making it work for you, you know? Because anyone will tell you, you know, like Red Powell, he played Khorne all this last season, and he won a few events or got close to winning, but he'll tell you, like, he just loved Khorne. So he just wanted to be the best Khorne player in the world. That was his goal, win or lose, and he did it, so, which is awesome, and I can't wait to get him on the channel to talk about what he's going to be doing, so. 40 Foxwalkers. I was in your shoes. Are you doing wash painting on them? Wash painting is by far the easiest way to paint your Poxwalkers. That's how I did all mine. And I can walk you through how to do that if you've never heard of it. But it definitely made painting the Poxwalkers a lot quicker. Not saying it was quick by any means. I think I ended up spending probably 20 or 30 hours painting Poxwalkers, but I'm also kind of a slow painter too, so I'm not quick, and my hands are kind of shaky. So I make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes I got to go back and cover them, but yeah, I've done the 40 Poxwalkers, so I think I have like 2 or 3 that are unpainted that I've found in a box, so at some point I'll go and paint them, but for now, I'm not going to paint them. For now, they will stay where they're at. But get this obliterator painted up. His trim painted up. Trim is by far, so once I get this and the silver done, I think everything else will be pretty easy, because at that point it's like little bits here and there, you know. and the blue robes aren't going to be too terrible. Oh, so you're just doing one color at a time then? What I mean by wash painting is that instead of painting the flesh an actual color, if you base coat the entire poxwalker like white or gray or could be a fleshy color if you want to, and then you just basically take a wash of your choice. Okay, I'll show you here in a second, man. I'll grab one of my poxwalkers and kind of explain it. I found that it made it a hell of a lot easier. You see a lot more progress with the models, and it's actually not too much work. The only parts of the poxwalkers I actually really had to paint were the pants and like the weapons, but the rest of the model was super easy. I'll grab one here in a second and just kind of explain it to you. But it will make it a lot faster and you'll use a lot less paint. But you have to have base coated them. Like I said, it has to be a light color, like gray, white. If you've primed them already like black, then I would just say base coat the whole model like a flesh color or white, just to kind of cover the model. Alright, so second obliterator is highlighted. Let me go grab a poxwalker real quick. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So here's an example right here. So what I mean by wash painting is, so this entire model, I just primed him white, and then I took like a bone white and I hit up just the bony bits right here, right? Painted the pants just plain red, and then painted his weapon just silver right here. So Death Guard green you might be alright with. Then I kind of hit up the belt with a little bit of brown, just because for me, I like the belt to kind of stand out a little bit. And so all I did was, because the model was white, right, I actually took a wash. So I think in this guy was Seraphim Sepia. So I covered his entire body with just Seraphim Sepia right here. And so you can see he took on like a yellowish tinge just for the skin. If there was any part that like I didn't like how it was too light or whatever, I would actually do it again. And then for all of the pustules, I just went over them with well, you can do Bealtan green. It's kind of too green, but I did Athonian Camo Shade, which I don't have here right now. But I just hit up all the poxes, right? For all of his tentacles, I used Drukhari Violet, so it made them all purple. And then just for his pants, his weapon, and his belt, I used Nuln Oil. So after you wash everything, this is basically how it turned out. I didn't even do any highlighting. Like, this is pretty much just base coating and washing. And I did this, so this guy was Seraphim Sepia, and I'll show you. I did a bunch of different skin colors to kind of differentiate the squads. Hold on a sec, I gotta find a couple. Yeah, there's one. And here's one. And so that's the Seraphim Sepia flesh. This guy right here is Agrax Earthshade flesh. So you can see that he's a lot darker brown. And so this is actually how I tell the differences between my squads, is basically by their skin color. And then my third squad, I used, this is just Athonian Camo Shade. And so these guys have green skin, right? And so this is actually something you can do for orcs too if you want to do it that way. But yeah, and so that's all I did for all my squads. And each of the squads, now the green squad I only have 10, and then these two skin colors I have 20 of each. So and it's easy, like it's super easy. I didn't even highlight them. Now these are super old models. I've actually learned highlighting techniques and a lot more advanced stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was super easy, and so you can actually knock out a bunch of poxwalkers pretty quickly. So, yeah. And yeah, and I still get compliments on them, which is pretty funny because I didn't put a lot of work into them. But in mass, they look pretty impressive, you know, compared to like gaunts or something that people put just a couple colors on. But hopefully that helps you out, man. So I tried to break them into 20s. I only have 40, like 48 or 50. No. I have 40. I have 2 squads of 20 and like a squad of 18 or something like that. So yeah, I try to break them up into squads of 20. You know what I mean? Because if you do it that way, you know, even if you want to use 10-man squads, then you have a way to turn them into 20-man or 10-mans. If you're doing like the pox thing where basically you're splitting poxes when they die, then if you've got them, you know, the same flesh color, you can always spawn them that way. So thank you. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I was super proud of them as my first models back into the game. Now I look at them and I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, I see where I could do better, but I'm not going to repaint them because they're still fine. And they kind of match my aesthetic when I put them on the table, so I don't worry too much about them. And as a matter of fact, they're part of this list that I'm going to be running this coming weekend, so I'm glad that I have them painted because I'm using 45 of them, so that's like the worst part of it. And it's bad enough I got to paint 10 damn cultists. Damn cultists taking up all the work. But yeah, so just hitting up the trim of all these guys. So the goal this weekend is to get all of these completely done. I hope that Necrosius comes in. If I can get Necrosius in this weekend, that'd be fantastic, because then I don't have to... I can paint him this weekend. Worst comes to worst, Necrosius comes in the mail like Monday, Tuesday, I hope. If not, I might just email the TO and ask him if I have a Terminator, Nurgle Terminator Sorcerer that's Death Guard. And I might just ask him if I can have him be a stand-in for Necrosius and just explain to people. Because I have bought the model, and it is the legit Forge World model, I think. I think I got him off eBay. But, and yeah, so we'll see. But I'm super excited. I'm excited because I'm using, you know, the new Thousand Sun stuff. I'm using Poxwalkers again, which I love. I do love playing Poxwalkers, not gonna lie. They're just a lot of fun. Mostly because they refuse to die, and then when they die, you don't feel too bad because it's like, okay, you killed a few points, like, woo. You can celebrate your victory, but I'm gonna win the game, so. But yeah. Also, I feel like the list that I built might be able to combat Grey Knights, because I have built-in 10 deny sources. So if they want to be within range of my army, then at least I have a way to stop some of those smites coming at me. So after learning fluff, that's funny. I like that. Well, it's pretty funny because back in the day I played Blood Angels, was my 5th edition army, and I really like Blood Angels. You know, lore wise, they're my favorite Space Marines. To me, like, it's weird because they feel more chaosy than even some chaos. You know what I mean? They feel like a Khorne army the way that they play and their lore. So, but no, I'm glad you're serving Papa Nurgle. He is my favorite. All may serve the Papa, and he welcomes all. He's also the loving god of the Chaos Gods, you know. Khorne doesn't care who you are, he just wants you to kill stuff. Slaanesh wants you to do a lot of dirty things. Oh yeah, no, it is. It's very strong, and that's why I had that chaos chat with, you know, TJ Lanigan. I feel like his advice and his input was very much needed, because I feel like a lot of people are really underestimating kind of the power of what Grey Knights are going to do. So, part of our talk after hours there, Dave. So I talked to TJ for probably another half an hour or so after we finished the chaos chat, and like I said, he's just a super nice guy. Like he just wanted to talk and ask how I'm doing and just kind of inquire on stuff and ask if he can help me in any way. So which was really nice. I didn't even like ask for his advice or anything. He just kind of just kind of put it out there. And so we really got into talking about, and I was like, I really I hope to God, after seeing what they did to Thousand Sons, that Death Guard does not get done dirty. And so what he kind of hinted at is that he's kind of heard some rumblings about the way Death Guard is going to play, and he said that what he's being told is Death Guard is actually going to get like basically mini detachments. So kind of like how we had the Vigilist detachments, it's gonna be kind of similar. And he said, some of the things that he heard hinted at was like you'll have a detachment that's +1 invulnerable save for the whole detachment, or a detachment where all the demon engines heal. Which I was like, you better not be lying to me, Ricky Bobby, because that's freaking cool as hell. So, because I love Death Guard, and the fact that if we can get super powerful stuff like that, all right, I'll take it. But oh, there's my wife. So I'm gonna put it on mute, and I'm gonna talk to my wife. So hold on. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. For those of you who bared with me, through my wife calling me. So, where was I at? I was talking about stuff. I was talking about what TJ told me about the what he's heard. So it sounds like Death Guard is definitely going to get some cool stuff. Really, really excited for that, obviously. And then, yeah. And he's heard that, which TJ, I'm sure he talks to a lot of people. But he's heard that the demons are also going to get some pretty freaking sweet stuff. So here's the hope in Nurgle demons get something cool, because that's what I mostly own. But I would also be happy with some Tzeentch demon stuff. Slaanesh demons can go to hell, so we're good there. I think the only Slaanesh demon I own is the Contorted Epitome. So, but yeah. And so I know I was on the phone there for a minute, but right now I am highlighting the grays on the masks and the feet. So I'm just kind of lightly going over the stuff. So I don't really care if it's a little splotchy. I know it's not like the best thing. So I hope TJ's right about what Death Guard get. I would definitely, because I'm sure he talks to a lot higher profile people than I do. I'm sure he's privy to a lot of information. I mean, it could be a lot of hearsay, but it could also be a lot of truth in it. So, because I mean, we all heard what the Grey Knights were going to get some good stuff, and look at what happened. There wasn't any rumors really of Thousand Sons. Everybody was kind of like, we heard about the cults, but there wasn't really any leaks about it. And I think it was mostly because, we saw what happened and what we got, and it was pretty crappy, in my opinion, what we got. I know we got some options, but it was kind of piss poor. So yeah, I mean, so far as Chaos members, we're kind of, I think a lot of people are kind of salty about what we've gotten. Yes, I know Faith and Fury was not terrible. We definitely got some stuff that's usable in there, but other than Alpha Legion and maybe occasionally a few options in some of the other pieces, we haven't really seen like a good showing, you know what I mean? Like, we've seen some people taking the Wordbearer Supreme Command. We've seen people utilizing a bit of Iron Warriors. Alpha Legion is definitely the strongest, I would say. Some people are messing around with Night Lords, which is not too terrible. Me personally, I've not had good luck with it. I've tried. I actually went out and bought Warp Talons and some stuff to just kind of mess around with it, a bit, but did not do too well, as evidenced by my 12th place showing at my last RTT, messing around with some mixed Alpha Legion and Night Lords. So that did not work out for me, but that's how you test stuff, right? You play stuff and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then, well, go back to the drawing board. But this list that I've got for next weekend, I'm feeling pretty good about. I like it because it's got elements of board control. It's got a lot of shooting. It's got a lot of psychic powers. It's got a lot of psychic defense. So that way, if I run up against those pesky Grey Knights, I have a way to hopefully counteract them, But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun regardless. So gotta get this shit painted, right? Get it painted so I can take it. So I think that's it for my grays. Oh, I got some gray on this guy. He's got this little like tail here. So I painted it gray, like a wolf gray. So I'm just kind of lightly hitting it up with that way it has a bit of a fade. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I see that I actually have quite a few people hanging out, which is fantastic. So I know I'm not the greatest painter. I know I don't have the best rig for you guys to see actually what's happening. But it means a lot to me that you guys choose to spend your time with me. So, and hang out with me. I think that's it for the grays. I'm checking the obliterators real quick. I don't think they had any gray really. They have a lot of silver, but all right. And so it was just pretty much touching up the gray boots, the gray heads, just giving them a bit of a highlight. Like I said, I don't care if they're kind of splotchy, because they kind of are a bit. Almost like I over highlighted them a bit, but I can always come back through and wash them again. That way it blends it a little bit if I feel like I kind of messed it up. But yeah, so there's the gray highlights. So next, for the robes and stuff, well, do I do the robes or do the browns? I guess I should do the browns. So we're gonna go ahead and do the brown. So for like the harnesses these guys are wearing, or bandoliers for some of them. The obliterators don't have any brown, so it's mostly for these cultists here in the middle that I'm gonna highlight the brown. And so I'm using a mix of a lot of Army Painter paints and GW paints. So all my GW paints I moved to dropper bottles, so I can't remember the names of half of them. So I'm sorry if you guys want to know how something is painted. I might not entirely know the colors unless it's the Army Painter colors, because those come in dropper bottles, so you don't have to transfer them, right? Which is great. And so for the browns, I need a thin brush. And so this is going to be like like I said, the bandoliers, this harness that he's got going around his neck here. I'm just kind of edge highlighting it a bit. Now it kind of sucks because the way that I painted these, brown on brown at some points, it'll make it kind of blend together with the, with his, like, what do you call it? It's not a cowl, but like the thing around his neck. So the brown's going to blend in a bit with it, but I'm not too concerned with that, mostly because I'm more going for not individual model look, but like mass model look with these cultists. So I'm going to use the exact same brown that I just used for the his bandolier and stuff for the, what would you call this? I don't know what it's called, but I'm just going doing drawn lines on wherever there's like a crease in the cloth or the edge here. And this is just to lighten up the edges a little bit. Break it up. And just add a little bit more depth to them. I'm not too concerned with how these cultists look up close. But that's me. I'm not like a golden demon painter by any means, but definitely as long as it looks good on the table and people comment about the army as a whole. So that's it. So really all he has is the belt. Oops, sorry. He has this belt around him, so I just kind of hit up the edges of the pouches and the top and bottom of the belt. This little bandolier, like shoulder strap for the gun, and then just around him. So I'm going to go through and hit up all these cultists the same way. So feel free if you guys have any questions about anything. Throw it up in the chat. That's what I'm here for. Doesn't need to be a one-way conversation. I'm all about the back and forth. So like I said, you know, for you guys out there, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out with me. I know a lot of people find me mostly through my tacticas. My tacticas tend to draw a lot of people, which I am working on redoing those, by the way. I've been kind of lazy with doing them, mostly because waiting on the Psychic Awakening stuff, which can have a huge impact on, you know, how the tacticas are written. So now that we have the 1,000 Suns, I'm actually going to probably do that one this weekend for release at some point in the near future. And I am focusing the tacticas more on strategy in general rather than specific tactics against a specific army, right? So why I say that is because I found that in my previous Tacticas, I was talking about the meta at the given time, right? And so, because they were kind of generalized towards that meta, it might not be necessarily good information going into like future metas. So, I just want to talk about like how you can use the models more and the units, as opposed to how you would use them in specific circumstances. So I think that'll be a lot more beneficial. That way, when people either find me in the future or, for you guys who've been around a while, it'll be better, I think, information that you can review and hopefully help out, And I'm by no means an expert in some of these armies. I just love chaos in general and just have an opinion based on, either play testing or talking to a lot of people. And I do talk to a lot of people. So I'll definitely probably talk to people more, especially the guys who play specific armies like Thousand Suns, Dan Savage, who runs the Tizcan podcast. That's kind of his wheelhouse. So I might talk to him and get a few like tricks that he's using for the Thousand Suns, because he does place pretty highly in the Texas meta. So at least get his feedback, Like I said, I don't want to give information on specific army matchups, because that to me is like more for the live streams that I do on Sundays. So if you guys are here for the Sunday streams, I talk about armies that are doing really, really well in the meta. So I actually break down a lot of lists. So for you guys who are aiming to be more competitive or just enjoy seeing weird, funky lists, definitely tune in on Sundays. I love to talk about weird lists that I found and I love talking about lists that do well. So I don't necessarily just do like top. I'll do the top placing lists. Don't get me wrong, but I'll even go down as low. I usually try to pick out like the top chaos guy from an event, and then talk about his list. So he could be even like 12th place out of GT if he's the top chaos guy, and then I'll just talk about it, And I see some really, really cool stuff that I get really excited about. Sometimes I wish I had a better model selection so I could run some of the stuff that I see. But and I do. I love what some people come up with. Makes me super excited. Oh, my thing just blinkied. But yeah, feel free to type in questions if you guys have questions. Right now I'm just doing the boring part of lining robes. Yay! This is a lot of fun. But because these are cultists and I'm not too worried about the overall look, like I said, because nobody's going to pick up my cultists and like eyeball them up close, I don't think so. But I just want to hit the ridges on these, on their, are these dresses? I don't know. Trench coats. There you go. I guess they're trench coats that the cultists are wearing, so. So this is just a way to kind of just give. And then at the same time, this allows me to, like on this guy, I messed up with some silver and actually got it on his trench coat at the bottom. So I was able to use the brown to kind of cover up that little bit of silver that I got on there on accident. So. Boom and boom. And there we go. Another cultist done. Or the brown part of the cultist, sorry. We're just doing the brown parts right now. This takes forever. Jupu? Jupu, is that how you say your name? Jupu? So, on paper, he's not really sharing too many. So TJ is very, very open about his lists, but when he's in list development, he's kind of tight-lipped about it because he's not entirely sure where he wants to go with it. So you know, in the example of last night, you know, where we're talking about his horde style list, he's picking a general strategy that he wants to build around, and that's kind of what he was talking about. He was not talking about the specific list because he's not entirely sure how the final list is going to look, right? He knows that he wants to do poxwalkers. He knows that he wants to do splitting horrors, feeding poxwalkers. So, and that's why I kind of was talking more about the general strategy of the list rather than having him divulge a list. As a matter of fact, we sat down afterwards, and he actually pulled up the list and read it off to me, and I was like, "Wow, that's a really crazy list." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just like not 100% on what I want to do with it yet." So that's why he didn't really share the list, because it's not like he has a final product, you know. At the same point, you also need to look at it from his perspective. So him being a top tier player, he might be holding some of his cards a little close to his vest until he can like go to a GT and something and see if it works. Because he's super talkative like when he has a list that works. Because at that point it's kind of out in the open, right? People have seen what he has, and so at that point, you know, then they got to start planning around how do I play against this crazy TJ list, you know. But what I could gather from his general list idea is you want to have at least 2 units of Poxwalkers. Obviously, you need to have Typhus because Typhus is awesome. And then from there, he's using a giant squad of Pink Horrors. I think he said that they were 30 man. I believe in our talks, that's what I got from him. He uses about 400 to 500 points of summoning. So that is so he can summon up specific characters and things based on the matchup. So he was telling me, you know, against my buddy Mark Perry at LVO, he actually summoned up a unit of Beasts of Nurgle. And the reason why he did that is because they're really good at holding objectives late game, because it's really hard to kill them when you have limited resources, right? And so just stuff like that, you know? So he's playing a very tactically diverse list that's built to, he can summon in whatever he needs in a given moment. And then on top of that, he can split horrors, he can, you know, increase his Poxwalkers, so on and so forth. Yeah, I know, because then you would have to paint. Yeah, then you would have to go paint like literally every model that you would want. Well, I mean, it depends on your tournament. Like some tournaments might allow you to bring like secondary models and have them unpainted, but yeah, you would have to have an awful lot of painted stuff. So, but it sounds like kind of talking to him, normal summoning stuff that he summons is like the Contorted Epitome. He said he summons quite a bit. Beasts of Nurgle he summons in quite a bit. He said usually he'll summon in Nurglings quite often because they're cheap and durable, and then he can just kind of keep doing it, you know? Here's another unit of Nurglings, here's another unit of Nurglings, so on and so forth. So he'll do that, and yeah, but kind of the main goal of his list is to create basically this giant horde of Poxwalkers, because he wants to make one unit just massive. You get this unit of Poxwalkers that's so big, and then he can go ahead and buff them up to toughness 5, -1 to hit, and it's just really, really, really hard to deal with, you know? So that's kind of the idea behind his current list, you know? Oh, man, so you got to rebase them? I think they sell, like, stuff to basically just slot the square. I might be wrong. I mean, it wouldn't be too bad, I don't think, if you just clipped at the base, like right around the feet, and then just glued them to a circle base, then use some like GW base paint for everybody, just do them all the same. I think you could probably do it in probably a day. I wouldn't imagine it'd be too bad. I mean, it depends on what size demons, though. I mean, are we talking about plague bearers? Or are we talking about like big demons? So, but I don't imagine it'd be too bad. You could just spray coat them, that way, and you know, you could do it. I think you could do it, man. But that's if you want to do a summoning list like TJ. So talking to TJ though, he has a lot of sponsors, so I wouldn't chase the meta behind TJ because he's always gonna have the newest hotness. Hey, what up, Armand? Nice to see you, buddy. I am painting some cultists right now. So, Ramond is my good friend, Mickey. He is one of our patrons. So, you can actually see his name at the side of the screen there. And so, he's actually been my longest patron. So, he likes to swing in from time to time and just say hi. So, and I always greatly appreciate him coming in and his patronage. So, he was, as a matter of fact, the last one to receive a Nurgling from me. I've discontinued sending Nurglings out because I realized how expensive it is to send even a single Nurgling model overseas. So, but yeah, it definitely is expensive. But I'm glad that you were able to make it in here, Mickey. So, seems like if I do these streams like in the middle of the night, well, not middle of the night, but like early evening, I can tend to get a lot more people. So. Which is awesome. I like having a lot of people here. Gets very... Oh, nice! There are 0 9th age players, so you got hooked up with 40k. Okay. Are you excited about the new Warhammer, like them reintroducing Warhammer Fantasy? So... Oh, nice! You're on night shift? Of course, that's what I'm here for, man. I mean, yeah, you could do it that way. It would make it easier for you, and then you don't have to rebase them. And then, you know, when they do this new old fantasy, you know, then your demons can be used for both things. So, it could be a way to do it, you know? Might be a way to do it. But I would definitely wait. Demons right now are definitely in a hard spot. It's not something that I would put a lot on the table and expect to do pretty well with it. Demons are actually very hard to play, and they're probably one of the weakest mono codexes in 8th edition. So, which really sucks because demons are probably I'd say probably my second favorite army next to Death Guard. I was really excited to find out that I was able to play my Death Guard with demons when I came back in 8th edition. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, you know, I can make an army of demons with the Death Guard, and which I was really stoked on. And then, you know, then they nerfed freaking Plague Bearers, and I have all the stuff to run a lot of Plague Bearers. I only have one squad painted though. Okay, that's the new version of Fantasy then. Okay. Gotcha. Are they releasing anything that allows you to go from circle to square then? Because I know a lot of people rebase their armies to go to Age of Sigmar, so I hope that they would release something that way you can be like, oh, my Age of Sigmar army is now a Warhammer Fantasy, traditional Warhammer Fantasy army. So, I was actually a big fan of Warhammer Fantasy. It was a lot of fun back in the day. Movement was a little weird, but... Yeah, no, so Chaos Knights are very, very easy. Very easy army to start, you know, because you only need a few models. They're expensive, though. That's the only issue, is that, like, while they're really easy to start up, it's really pricey. Alright, so I'm getting my dry brush colors off to the side here. So, oh, that's the fan-made one. Sorry, I know that they reintroduced, that they're coming out with Fantasy again, so, and I know a lot of people were pretty super stoked on that. I'm not a big Fantasy person, if you can't tell. So, I played a little bit back in the day, and then, that was about it, so. So this gray, the uniform gray, so if you guys have been in any of my previous streams, I always talk about this, but I'm just going to kind of show you guys here. So I usually like to use black to break up like the parts right here, you know, where the armor plate for like a Chaos Space Marine goes from the shoulder and it goes down to like their elbow area, and on the inside there's usually like an accordion looking thing. Some people will just paint this all one solid color, but obviously because I'm doing like a shiny metal color, I don't want to paint the accordion in the middle because it's made of cloth most likely, because you know, flexible. Could be something else, some weird sci-fi stuff. But so I always paint it black, and what I'm going to do is use actually this gray to highlight the black. That way it kind of breaks up the black a little bit. But this is more or less how I do my black highlights, is usually with a gray. So I'm not the best highlighter when it comes to black, but this is just my method of doing it. So, and I don't need very much either. Oh, that's cool. I love Skaven. Like, Skaven is, if I were to play fantasy, that's definitely one of the armies I would look at. Mostly because, you know, I love the Nurgle Skaven. What are they, the Plague Rats? Because Nurgle's my favorite. So I've definitely looked at starting a Plague Rats army time to time, you know. But then I only have so much time, and I got to make videos and live streams, and got plenty of 40K stuff to still paint, so that's why I haven't ventured into fantasy, you know. Then for a minute there, I started doing some kill team stuff, but I don't really enjoy the kill team group around here. They're not my favorite group to work with. So, and a lot of the players are really irritating to me. So, could be because I'm an old man and don't have patience for 20-year-old kids that are in college. So. And so I'm just going through. I'm hitting up these black, just kind of like between the accordion pieces, a little bit. And then up here on a shoulder pad, I actually painted the Chaos Star up here black. And so I'm just going to kind of hit it up with a little bit of gray to kind of lighten it up some. And voila, that's it. Super easy. So, oh, you did a dip on the Skaven army? So dipping is really, I like it a lot for like, Skaven would be good for it. Dipping's also really good for like Tyranids. So, I actually looked at dipping when I played 5th edition, I did play Tyranids. And so I did look at dipping my Hormagaunts there for a while, but that was back when I was a terrible, terrible, terrible painter. Like, absolutely awful. I'm glad that I don't have any of my old models, because if I were to look back at them, I'd be like, meh, I'd probably throw them. Oh, God, that is crazy. Yeah, but you know what, Mickey? You paint what you can when you can. I mean, I have a whole shelf of models back behind me that are unpainted. So, and I have a lot of stuff that I've started and then I've quit. You know, I've got 30 pink horrors that I got base coated, I got them highlighted and shaded, and then I just stopped. You know, so you just kind of do. I'm finding. Scary, I actually took his bit of advice talking to him that if you paint even just for an hour a day, you just sit down for an hour and you paint a few things, eventually you get to the point where you start having a lot of painted stuff. As a matter of fact, these guys right here, I was painting these all week to get them to this point to where they're highlighting. So as an example, you know, I would paint a little bit of the Cultists every day. So like I did the blue and like the silvers one day, and then the next day I did a little bit here and there and did like the little tidbits, and I just kept doing that until they were done. And then one day I came home and I was like, okay, I'll just do the shading on all of them. Went ahead, washed all these models, left them, and then I came back, and then that's where we're at today. So it actually works out very, very, very well. So. And if you start feeling really bored of a model, then you grab a different model and you start putting some color on that one too. I always say my most hated part of any model is base coating. Like, I will highlight all day long, I'll wash, I'll do all that stuff, but I hate base coating models. And it's because base coating, while I feel like you make the most progress on a model, you know, because you're actually filling in the colors, you don't really see the effect, you know what I mean? Because it just makes it look very bland. It's like basically you're outlining the tree on a canvas, you know. It's probably the most boring part, but it's also one of the most critical parts. So now I've went ahead and just filled in those tubes on the side there. So Contemptor Dreadnoughts. I'm glad that you asked there, K2. I'm actually a big fan of Contemptor Dreadnoughts. I have 3 of them with Butcher Cannons. Now, Butcher Cannons in the current meta are not very good. But, so what are you thinking of running the glass cannon versions? Or the, like, what version are you trying to run? There, we'll start there. While you answer that question, I'm going to shake up some blue. So the robes were painted all crystal blue. I don't need that anymore. Ultramarine blue is too dark. Deep blue I have used. Oh yeah, that's too dark too. So I'm going to use the same blue. Washes have been love, yes. I love washes. Oh, shit. Thank you for reminding me. I need to wash the tubes before I go ahead and put the other stuff. Hey, that is not easy. Don't downplay that. I, as a matter of fact, love dry brushed armies. So, as a matter of fact, for my Thousand Suns, I'm actually thinking, because I haven't actually completely painted any of the Thousand Suns. So sorry guys, I'm actually using blue tone from Army Painter to highlight the tubes for the plasma. So I'm going to paint like these little tubes coming down to the fist, because, you know, power fists are basically powered by like plasma or whatever the hell kind of energy it is. I can never remember. But to highlight blue, I like to use blue. That's me though. Depending on what I'm doing, you know. But for plasma lines and stuff, I like to use the blue tone to highlight them. So, because what it does is instead of it really deepens the blue, and then that way when I do my line work on the blue to do like the plasma effect, it just looks really nice for me. So he's gonna actually this Terminator's gonna have to sit off to the side and dry for a little while. Okay, so got the blue tone on his tubes. I'm gonna set him off to the side while he dries, and then I'm gonna get a bit of blue tone on the plasma cannon on top of this obliterator here. So and never enjoyed it. See, and I'm not the best painter. People would definitely argue that I'm pretty good. I'm pretty humble about it, because I've seen some guys that I'm like mind-blowing work, you know, and I'm definitely not to that level. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of dry brushing. I'm a huge fan of that sort of stuff, because it does help out a lot when it comes to the effect on the model. So if the whole model looks good, that's good enough for me. Kind of same as you. I go for above tabletop. I'm not satisfied with tabletop quality, because I like when people pick up the models and actually inspect them. But yeah, so now these are for his lightning claws. I'm gonna go ahead and use this. It's what is it? Crystal tone blue. It's the same blue that I used for all the robes, but I'm gonna use it to tip the claws right here, because I used a deep blue. And so I'm just kind of highlighting just the tips of the claws here. Probably go about 3/4 of the way up them. I'll actually show you mine here in a minute, K2. So Butcher Cannons in the current meta are not very good. If you're going to run Butcher Cannons, you definitely want to go Iron Warriors. Iron Warriors Butcher Cannon Dreadnoughts are definitely far superior to Death Guard right now. And the reason being that's because they ignore cover, you know. Also at the same point with us getting the new Forge World rules at some point this century, this year, I would personally would hold off a bit and wait and see what we get, but you know, but I'll show you mine, my dreadnoughts that I made. So I converted all mine up from actual Contemptor dreadnoughts. You can actually get, I think it was Betrayal of Calth. It was the 30k box set. Sometimes you can get a good deal on the dreadnoughts from that set if people have like used them. So all three of the dreadnoughts that I converted were actually previously owned. They were painted up. They had arms on them and the whole 9 yards. And I actually tore them apart, converted them up, did the Death Guard thing to them, and then did my my painting. So I actually don't strip models. A lot of people are aghast when I tell them that. All my secondhand models, I have literally just primed over the old base coat and just went from there. And I find like the new spray paints, they actually don't goop up at all. So, like at all. So, but hopefully you guys can see the effect here of the lightning claws. So I've actually done from a dark blue down to a lighter blue on all the claws here. So I did the toes and did the 2 lightning claws on the side. So I'm actually going to do like 4 highlights on the claws. That way they give them the nice power looking thing for the weapon. So highly recommend Army Painter paints, by the way. You guys can pick up this whole set of paints. I know you guys can't see it. We got like 60 different colors. It was literally $120 on Amazon. So, and they're actually very, very nice. I'm starting to learn how to use them. They're a little different from GW paints, but I like them. I like them a lot. So, but let me show you one of my dreadnoughts real quick, K2. Yeah. And so, like I said, so this is actually my Contemptor, one of my Contemptor dreadnoughts with Butcher Cannons. You can actually, I can call them different weapons as long as I go ahead and do, you know, different things. I actually magnetize, so this is a Havoc launcher onto his shoulder. So that way I can do the Havoc launcher and the Butcher Cannon if I want to. But you can see, so the main body here was the original dreadnought. What I did was I actually cut the head out because it was a loyalist dreadnought. Cut out the head and put a Death Guard head down in there. Went ahead and glued, this was actually from the... I think it's the Lord of Contagion. These right here are actually the arm plates from Helldrake that I actually acquired from a friend. These are actually the Forge Fiend cannons because I have one Mauler Fiend, so I went ahead and used his Forge Fiend cannons for my Butcher Cannons. And then other than that, it's a bunch of spiky bits and green stuff. And so you can see right here, and you can't actually tell at all that he was prior a loyalist. So all 3 of mine are converted this way. Well, they don't have the same cannons. Let me go get the one that I made the cannons for. So this one right here, so these Butcher Cannons are actually made out of Plastitube. So you can actually buy Plastitube really cheap. I think it was like $5 or something on Amazon. But what I did was these were actually the claw arms, like you've seen them, like the Dreadnought claw arms. And what I did was I cut the hands off and then I actually drilled out the center. I used a Q-tip as the center here, you know, put the Q-tip and glued it in place. And basically just cut Plastitube all the same size, you know, 6 barrels. And then I just filed it down that way. Now some of the barrels on the tips here, you know, they're kind of a little squished, but nobody ever notices. It annoys me, but nobody ever notices. But yeah, so you can easily convert up, you know, a Contemptor Dreadnought really with whatever arms you want. You know, you could buy the arms, because I got all 3 of these Dreadnoughts for $40 from a friend. He just had them in a closet, and he's like, yeah, I'm never going to use these, and so I picked them up super cheap, and they were in rough shape, but I definitely revitalized them. So I'm glad that you like the work, though. I'm a huge fan of Death Guard, so I find like my Death Guard models tend to look better than my other stuff. But so back to what I was trying to say before I got on my tangent about those. So the dry brushing there, Ramond. So it's actually not a bad idea for my Thousand Suns. I'm really thinking, because I haven't finished painting anything besides a single sorcerer. The sorcerer that I painted candy red is actually my sorcerer that can be any sorcerer. So, but what I'm thinking of doing for the Thousand Suns is one of the guys I played recently. He's got an Ultramarines army, and he's got like little statues on the bases that were like the old Honor Guard models. And what he did, they're like the metal Honor Guard, right? And so what he did was he chopped them up and like cut the arms off and stuff and glued them to the base and made them look like statues coming out of the sand. He painted them just like plain gold and then just put like a shitload of nihilic oxide on them. It makes them look like rusted, like copper statues. I really like the look. It's cool. I've seen a lot of people doing like the stone, the stone soldier Thousand Suns, which I really like that look too. But I think I want to do the rusted, coppery looking dudes, just to kind of stand out and be a little different from the stone soldier look. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But so dry brush painting, which that's basically what I'm going to end up doing for those. Not bad. And I don't have to do all the little fucking details, which that's the thing that gets me, is all the little stuff, you know. All right, so the extra 800 points. Ooh, man. Oh, yeah, you were the one I was talking to. There is just a lot that you can do with the Thermal Knights list, and it kind of depends on what you want to do. TJ, so if you're not a member of the Discord, actually somebody did ask something similar earlier today, and he kind of answered his opinion. He likes demons or the Thousand Suns like psychers coming with them. And so right now what we're doing is we're actually taking electric blue. I think it's electric blue. Is that what? Yeah, electric blue. I'm going to highlight the robes or whatever for the cultists. So just kind of going along the edges, hitting up these raised areas a little bit. Just doing a little bit of dry brush highlighting. So nothing too crazy. But me personally, I'm a fan of obliterators. Now, hear me out. I've actually played this list a few times lately, and I actually really enjoyed how it played, because what it does is, you know, you can really shove those Thermal Knights at someone, and on top of it, you get access to stuff like Sabotaged Armory. So, you know, if you go first against some repulsors or something like that, which I'll tell you, Thermal Knights are guaranteed to almost kill at least a couple repulsors, unless you roll really bad or they roll really hot, you know. But it's great to, you know, kill a repulsor next to a bunch of characters and be like, all right, Sabotaged Armory, and it blows up turn one, you know, takes a chunk off of all these key characters, and it's a glorious feeling. So me, I like obliterators a lot with my Thermal Knights. Now, I mean, you could do a lot of different things. I am not a fan of the old Disco Lord, the Disco Inferno style list, where you had Lord Discordance with Thermal Knights and blah, 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 blah. Austin Wingfield did pretty well with a Mortarion triple Thermal Knights list, but that's very highly terrain dependent. So he'll be the first one to tell you, like, you have to know if the terrain can support Mortarion and 3 Knights. But I mean, there is a lot you can do. So as you can see, I've just lightly highlighted just around his little robes here. Oh, I missed a little area. So I just do it enough, that way I can see that I've highlighted it a bit. And when it dries, hopefully it's not like, because here I got like a dark light line there, but I don't think anybody's ever noticed that. So I'm always going to inspect my cultists that close. But yeah, personally, so I was running a list that I was messing with. As a matter of fact, I've got a battle report coming out with it. And it was Obliterators, 2 Sorcerers, or 1 Sorcerer. I think it was 2 Sorcerers. 2 Sorcerers, some Cultists, 3 Obliterators, and then a Gatling Knight and 2 Thermal Knights. And so I really liked how it played. I would probably make some tweaks. I don't have enough thermal cannons for 3 Thermal Knights right now, but I actually had a local guy that does 3D printing. He's going to 3D print me some thermal cannons. I'm going to go buy him off of him. So I pay him to 3D print stuff just because, while I appreciate that he would just do it for free, I like to he's using his own time and materials. He's actually really good at 3D printing. He actually, texted me the other day. He's like, oh yeah, the size of the files and stuff was kind of messed up, so I had to reprint these things 3 or 4 times. So pay him a few bucks for his time and effort. But yeah, when I get those thermal cannons though, I definitely intend to. Right now, I don't think Knights are super competitive, but we're about to get the good old what they call it, Machine Wars, is the next book. So once that comes out, man, I think I'll probably end up playing my Knights a little bit more. Which that will give me a reason to paint a Knight on stream, because I got Hydra that I just finished. If you guys have not seen Hydra, he is my Tzeentch Knight with 3 heads. And he is awesome. And he is totally unpainted right now. Yeah, I'm not a fan of, and I've never been a fan of the triple Disco Lords like some people were. And I think it was more a result of the fact that they were super killy. They were not resilient by any means. And they never have been. But what people were doing was they were able to, threat overload. Like, I have so many things that are coming at you. You got to deal with all of them. And the Disco Lords are the least of your worries because, you want to kill the ranged threats first. But Disco Lords had a lot of weaknesses that weren't really, I think a lot of people weren't accounting for originally. As an example, if you've got multi-floor ruins, they can't get to you. We've got a lot of Marines that love to hide on top of ruins and stuff. Your Disco Lords can't do anything, so they're just going to ignore the Disco Lords until they absolutely have to deal with them, And while Disco Lords have a decent damage output, if they're not Flawless Toast, they're not nearly as killy. So you're sacrificing a lot to have these super killy 160 point models running around. Like you've said, they die really easy to Space Marine stuff. And then they also die very easily against the new Grey Knights. So to me, the Disco Lords are personally, I don't think that they're a starter. Some people would argue with me that they still have play. I know some guys on the Discord channel still like them, which is fine. Everybody plays different. You got different metas, But if you play against people that know how to deal with them, they don't do very well. I like to run my Disco Lords as support units. If you actually watch I have a GT battle report from the Crozius GT, and that was my time with my Nurgle Demon Engines, and I love that list to death. I actually made multiple versions of that list. It's just, it does not play super well into the Space Marine meta, for one. For 2, Grey Knights are like a hard-ass counter to that list, because everything in that list has the demon keyword. So, like, the smites from Grey Knights, I just can't do anything about, right? I'm just going to basically put my models on the table and pick them back up, so, which really sucks. It's not fun. But I love my Nurgle Demon Engines to death. I can't wait to be able to replay with them at some point in time in the future, so. And so for these robes, same thing. I'm just kind of hitting up the raised areas in certain parts of them. It's just to give them a little bit more definition, I'm not too concerned. Cultists, Not too concerned with getting them like super, super, super crisp or anything, but I think they'll look nice still. As a matter of fact, the ones that I've finished, they do look pretty nice. So sorry, Mickey, I saw that you typed something. It's pretty long, so I'm ignoring you. No, I'll read it here in a second. But yeah, that's me. It's a good question though. I mean, there's a lot you can do with the Thermal Knights though. A friend of yours runs 2 Helldrakes, 2 Thermal Knights, 2 Disco Lords, and you don't know what to. Yeah, no, that's basically the definition of a threat overload list. You know, you play Custodes, right? Or that's your main army, I should say, is your Custodes. Yeah, I mean, Custodes, sadly, without going into the Forge World stuff, you don't got a... You played some War Dogs. Which War Dogs? Did you play the Close Combat ones? Did you play the Moiroxes? Because Moirox War Dogs are actually very, very, very good. They're very solid for their points. So, yeah, Custodes, sadly, they don't... Without dipping into Forge World, even with the Forge World stuff now, like it's really hard for you to deal with Knights. I mean, you have to have the, what are they? The Aquila Terminators, the ones with the Strength 10 Power Fists, like straight 3 damage or something. They're really, really good. Like, I really like them. I don't like the look of... I do not like the look of Custodes, though. That's I don't know. They're just way too blingy for me. They remind me of like what Emperor's Children would look like if they were to be re-released, you know? So my paintbrush is getting all mucked up. Ooh, I need to take this paintbrush out of the water. It's going to bend it up. Okay. That explains why you wouldn't run them then. Yeah, so basically you're trying to make use of stuff in the books to play. That makes sense. So in that case, I mean, that makes it a little easier because then you don't have to deal with the stupid freaking unkillable Leviathan Dreadnought, which is the bane of many people's existence, especially mine. Because for some reason, people love to run freaking Leviathan Dreadnoughts around here. And I hate them. I hate them with all my being. I hate all variants of the Marines with the damn Leviathan Dreadnought, because they all have their thing that they can do with the Leviathan. You know, Ultramarines have the -1 to hit and toughness 9 and blah, 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 blah. And oh, by the way, I'm going to heal him. And oh, by the way, I'm going to do this. And oh, by the way, I'm going to make all my 4 invulnerable saves. Thank you, buddy. That's awesome. But, oh, that's awesome, Mickey. See, you need to share your Custodes on the Discord. You're on the Discord. You need to get on there and share photos of your army. I implore anybody on the Discord channel, share photos of your army. I love seeing everybody else's army. And plus, you guys give me ideas too. So, no, I'm up in the air, you know. I have the Forge World stuff. The Forge World stuff. I've been picking up some of it. I'm still not a huge fan of a lot of it. I think a lot of it, when we get the new rules, I think we'll be a lot better off. I think that it's kind of like playing with the index options, you know. Some stuff just wasn't meant to be played with the rules that exist now. And now we're finding people that are able to abuse those rules a little too easily. And so yeah, they just need a complete rework, and we will be solid. So we'll wait and see, you know. But yeah, I think we'll be good to go, you know. Painting up some cultists. But yeah, Mickey, share your damn army. Share your damn army. So the autocannon war dogs are, I love Helverins. I do. As a matter of fact, I run them actually quite often. Recently, I ran a list that was 2 Helverins, 1 Gatling Knight, Mortarion, and a Lord of Change. Obviously, this was before New Grey Knights. I totally wouldn't take that in the New Grey Knight meta. But Helverins are super hit and miss. Super hit and miss. And I think it's mostly because of the AP -1 on that damn autocannon. If they would bump that to AP -2, I would run Helverins all the time. All the time. The AP -1 is a huge deterrent because, with Marines being in cover all the time, and then now, concealed positions to give cover to vehicles for other armies. It just makes it really hard to justify. Yes, I know it's straight 3 damage. If you're running them as Infernal, it's straight 4 damage. But it's just really underwhelming. Like, I've had times where I've hit and damaged with a bunch, and then it just, like, they make all their saves, and you're like, well, that was cool. This 160-point model did nothing. But I did have a funny game. The 60-inch range on those Helverins, though, comes in super handy when you're facing a lot of last cannons. So you can outrange last cannons, which is a lot of fun. And you can slowly pick away at things like all Dreadnought Space Wolves army. So, which is a lot of fun. Holy crap, I just got a huge uptick in views. Hello, everybody. So right now we are edge highlighting Cultists. It's a lot of fun, and then we're talking about some Chaos Knights, and Mickey is talking about his awesome Custodes army. So, yeah, I will totally check out the paint model channel after I'm done. Here in a few. Right now, I'm super stoked and super high on freaking. Had some espresso here not too long ago, so. Got to use up all this energy that I've got, this newfound energy, Alrighty, so at this point, I have edge highlighted all the cultists, so I should be able to go ahead. I think that I'm going to check my Terminator. So his tubes are dry, so I can go ahead and do the plasma effects on him. I can do the plasma effects on this Obliterator and the effects on the claws here. So I'm going to continue with this electric blue that I have. So I did base coat like all of the lines and stuff with my... so like I said, I'm using Army Painter for a lot of this stuff. So this is crystal blue. So I use this, and then now I'm actually going to go ahead and highlight with electric blue, and then my ultimate highlight is actually Void Shield blue. And then I'll actually use white in the middle. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a super light dry brush. Super light dry brush. So. I mean, I've seen some pretty gnarly, like, Emperor's Children armies and stuff. Slanesh armies. People get totally into that sort of thing. Me, not so much. I'm more into the grimdark. Like, give me the Nurgle stuff. Give me the corn stuff with all the blood and the gore. I'm also going to use this blue to highlight this helmet here, which is supposed to be like an Ultramarine that got like killed by this dude. So I'm just going to kind of just do a light edge highlight here. I'm not really going to like focus too much on this helmet. I just want to give it some color and some definition. And I'm going to put some blood at the bottom of it, but alright. Cool. So there we go. Terminator. The helmet got a little bit of highlighting. So now for this dude, he's got the lightning claws, right? So we did the crystal blue a little higher up. So now I'm going to actually take this. So I did about 70, I would say about 75% of the claw as the last color. So this one is going to be more like 50%. But yeah, join our Discord channel if you want to share your pictures of your armies. And I love seeing pictures of everybody else's armies. So love it, love it, love it, love it. And thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. So, oh God, blood for the blood god. Yes. Yes, blood for the blood god. Indeed. And skulls for the skull throne. All the skulls. Love all the skulls. Super looking forward, though, to see what demons get, man. I can't wait. I cannot wait for this, yeah, because I got Chaos Knights, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the demons. I'm just excited in general. I'm a very excitable person right now. So, all right. And then for this guy with his plasma cannon, I'm just going to, which I need to figure out a highlight color for all these hoses and things too. But I'm just going to kind of do the, I'm just doing a little bit of line highlighting in the middle here to lighten it up. And so there we go. I cannot see them, man, if you're sharing them here. I'm sorry. I do not see your vampire models. I know you said you were sharing them. Maybe other people can see them. I can't see them. And so for the obliterators for their eyes, I'm going to go ahead and hit up their eyes. So I painted them white. Now I'm going to do a little bit of blue because I want them like blue glowing. So I just put a little bit of blue in the center of his eye there. That way it looks like white, and then it's going to be blue, and then a lighter blue in the middle. And then these eyes on his like shin pads and stuff are going to be green. So that's something that we agreed upon during the last stream. People who are watching, they said, hey, paint the eyes green. So that is what I'm going to do. So all right, so there's that. Just making sure I'm not missing anything else as I'm doing their eyes. Now this might be, I might be jumping the gun a little bit by doing the eyes, but I like to do one color at a time. That way I don't forget and come back. Now I will still, you know, human beings. I'll still forget some stuff. So I'll notice like when I'm on another model, I'm like, oh crap, you know, I got to come back with this color. But yeah. So at least we're there. All right. So that blue is done. Boom. Look at that. We're getting a lot of work done. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. All right, so I think we're done with electric blue for now. Yeah, I think we're done with it. So electric blue is done. All right, so these hoses. So these hoses are Incubi Darkness. So looking at Incubi Darkness, it's like a really, really dark, like blue-green. Like black, blue-green. Turquoise is way too bright. So I think I'm going to mix this with a little bit of white to lighten it up, and then that's going to be the highlight for the tubes. So that'll be something I do here in a bit. So let's go ahead and highlight the jump pack here. So the jump pack here was actually Retributor Gold. So I'm going to highlight it with a... Is that... I'm going to actually highlight it with bronze. So I do some weird highlighting techniques, so I'm sorry if I'm unconventional. I'll highlight gold with bronze and stuff like that. So, but the reason is I want it to stand out that I highlighted it. But that's me. So I'm going to use this bronze. I'm going to super wipe it off. Super wipe it off. And then I'm going to just go ahead and do some highlighting, you know. And so it's not going to look It's not going to look like a normal highlight. What it's going to do is it's just going to give me different tones of metal, which is what I want for the jump pack. I just want it to look like just different colors. And that's it. So it's not super highlighted in any way, shape, or form. It just redoes the metal a bit and makes it look bright. So that way it just stands out. I'm not too worried about the jump pack, you know. I don't think people will really notice it as much as the rest of the model. So, okay, so we've done the jump pack. We're good with that. All right. I think it's time to tackle the silvers. I think. So silver is the last big part of these models that I need to do. Actually, let me do the green pants. There we go. We'll do that real quick. Obviously, I'm avoiding the silver. That's going to be the last thing I want to do. So, well, not the last. I need to actually do the skull white and stuff. That's going to be like the last thing I do. But all right. And so this is the highlight for the pants, this light green. And that's the pants for all these cultists right here. So, and so I don't want very much because this is actually like 2 tones lighter of a green than what was on them. But I'm just kind of lightly touching the raised areas of the pants. And it's just so that way it doesn't look, it gives it that slightly highlighted look, you know. And I'm not going to be super picky with these guys because it's just to give them that look like I actually tried on them. We all know the truth. But the people looking and judging in my army will not know the truth unless they're, you know, fans of the channel. So, in which case, please vote for me. But yeah, there we go. Just get a bit of dry brush. Boop 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 boop. Well, it's more like wet dry brush because this is actually a super wet paint. I put way too much water when I mixed them in the dropper bottles, so sometimes it definitely stands out. The good thing is though, when you put too much water in a paint, when it dries, the pigment actually bleeds out some. So which is good because you don't end up with those super bold highlights, which is not my style at all. That's more like the GW style where they do the edge highlighting on everything. It makes everything stand out. So it's kind of funny when I would look at the GW models back in the day. I was always like highly impressed by what they did. But now I've seen some really fantastic artists out there. Now GW is still really good. Don't get me wrong. They're definitely better than me. But I'm realizing that there's a lot of different styles for model painting, and so I'm kind of coming into my realization of how I like to paint my models and how I like them to look. So, but yeah, so GW's style is totally not my jam, you know. I do use some of the techniques though from the GW Paint app, like when I do the blood and guts and stuff like that. That was actually a combination that I learned from the GW Paint app, which, hey. Well, hopefully the chat's not stuck. I haven't seen anything come through in a while, so. I've had it happen before where, like, I've done a stream. I was doing a live stream. It was towards the beginning of the channel. But, like, I had asked if anybody had any questions, and, like, you know, it was very active, and then all of a sudden it stopped, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess nobody has any questions, and I hung up, and then I get, like, messages on the the Facebook page that, they're like, oh, we were asking questions, and it just wasn't updating. I was like, oh, crap, I'm sorry. I felt horrible, too, because people were, like, they were genuinely interested in, and had a lot of inquiries, so. But yeah. Get this green done, and then we're on to silver, and then Probably a few washes on these. Oh, thank you, Ramond. Mickey. I'm just going to call you Mickey from now on. Thank you for testing. Copy, copy. Roger, copy. Roger in the copy. But, yeah. But, yeah, so you're working the night shift, Mickey? Roger, over and out. Oh, you're over and out? No, don't leave. Yeah, I worked the night shift for ever and ever and ever. So now that I'm an instructor here, like as a matter of fact, here in 2 weeks I'm moving to the night shift. So I'll probably end up doing like early morning paint streams or something if I get bored. Which I guess is good for you guys overseas because that'll be more like y'all's time. I don't get a lot of Americans actually that come in for the paint streams. So it's actually mostly overseas. Which is good. I like that. I like that I'm appealing to overseas viewers. I'm multinational. There we go. Or international. There you go. Multi something. Words. But yes, I enjoy that. And so for you guys who enjoy the Chaos Chats, which I think everybody enjoys the Chaos Chats, but my next guest is actually from Australia. So I'm getting Matt Morsoli. So he won the ITC out in Australia. And he was running a very old school style Chaos list, like with Plague Bearers and all the stuff that we used once upon a time. So really exciting to get him on the channel. I kind of tested the waters a bit with Anthony Chu. So and he was a great guest. I actually really enjoyed talking to him. He was super cool. So I am looking forward to a lot of overseas guests. So for you guys who are overseas, if there's somebody specifically that you want me to talk to, and they are on Facebook, so I got to caveat that because it's really hard to find people if they're not on Facebook, let me know, and I will definitely reach out to them and see if I can get them on the channel. I would love to talk to somebody from like Finland or out there in I'm drawing a blank now of countries. My brain just went dead, but you know what I mean. Over there, Norway, those areas, because I know there's some really good players out there, so I'd love to get their perspective. And it seems like, now with the ETC going away, it seems like everybody's now going to be rotating to ITC. So that means, that's kind of my wheelhouse and the things that we play over here in America. So because they're going more to that, I wonder if they're going to still keep book missions. They're just going to play. It'd be really interesting, but definitely want to get some more international perspective. So that's why I'm getting Matt Morsoli on here, which is good. Getting an Aussie's perspective, and the neat thing is that these international players, they come over here to America where I know we've got all the big names, and they perform really, really well. And I think it's mostly because we're not used to the way that they play, and then their army styles. So a lot of people will argue, one meta is more superior than the other, or blah 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 blah. And I don't think it's that way at all. I think that every meta has their own unique blend, and one list, while it might perform very well here or there, it's not going to win everywhere because people play differently. So, which to me is really cool. I really, really like that. So, and I need to highlight these leaves real quick. Oh, that's pretty cool. So you're just basically like you sit at a desk or something, and if they cry out or something, you go to them and make sure they're tucked in, and that's a neat job. when several metas collide. Yes, exactly. But I like it. I like it that way. I like when the metas collide. I like because I don't think that any one meta. When I started playing 40k, and started getting competitive, I was definitely guilty of that. I was definitely guilty of ITC is definitely superior to ETC, and anybody who plays that is blah 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 blah. And then I slowly started realizing, these guys who play ETC and they come over here and play in these ITC events, they do really well. And it's not the format that makes players good. It's the players being good themselves, because you still need to know your army. You still need to know it in and out, and know what it does well and what it does poorly. And so I was definitely guilty of that, and I've definitely revamped my thoughts. So I love talking about ETC metas. I love talking about that sort of stuff, which is awesome. So I am definitely excited to get Matt on here to talk about his ideas of ITC and kind of how they deal with stuff over there. So I think it'll definitely be a good perspective to have, and it might help people come up with some interesting lists and go win with Chaos. So, which is what I'm here for. That's why I do this. That and to talk to Mickey, because Mickey is really cool. More or less, and do some house cleaning. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. While the kids are asleep, you run around, pick up toys, pack up the, get everything ready for the days. Makes a lot of sense. And as long as you like your job, that's all that matters. So, in the end. Me, I actually really enjoy, I'm an aircraft maintainer by trade. Worked on 3 different airframes, and I know I'm pretty knowledgeable, I guess, overall about a lot of stuff. Mostly because I feel like if you're not learning something, you're kind of you're doing a disservice not only to yourself but to your coworkers, because the more employable you are and the more of a resource you can be, whether or not it directly impacts you, that to me does matter, but in the end it's really what effect you have on the people around you, so and I think that's kind of why I think that's why people enjoy the YouTube channel, because that's what I'm here for. Mickey will tell you, he's a patron. I don't make a ton of money off of this by any means. The money definitely helps because I can go buy paints or buy the new books, go to a tournament that maybe I wouldn't normally be able to afford because now I got a few extra bucks. So it definitely helps, and I super appreciate it. But that's not the reason I do it. The patronage is actually there to make sure that I can keep doing this. But the reason why I do this is because I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy helping you guys and talking to you guys. And at the same point, it helps me out, I learn a lot. I'll tell anybody, I don't know everything by any means. When I do these chaos chats, I go into them. Sometimes I'm kind of floundering through and just like, oh, well, what do I ask this guy? He's won all these events, and I'm just the guy that barely makes the top 5 of an RTT. But it's good, though. It's good that I can use my talents and bring these things to you guys, and hopefully help you guys achieve your goals. And it is helping me become a better player overall. Hopefully one day, soon, I'll be able to... I've won a couple tournaments, but it's been a little while since I've actually won one, so... Yeah, I think the last one I won was that one with the Magnus list in Oklahoma, like mid last year. That was the last one I won, but which is fine, you do what you do, right? All right, so at this point, I'm now doing the next coat of blue, which is basically highlighting the if you can see it here, I'm edge highlighting the plasma cannon here. That way it kind of, and doing like a little bit of blending between the sides there. So that's that blue. I've kind of outlined the tentacles and the tongues and stuff with a lighter green real quick. That was when I was just doing my little spiel. Sorry, I tend to rant. If you guys have been here before, you know I'll rant sometimes. But and so now I'm going to do this lightning claw, the very tip of it, with a super... So this is the Void Shield Blue. Where's my dude at? And so you guys can see it's like I've done this gradient blue now. No, and that's fantastic. I'm so happy that you found us, K2. And so hopefully you share it with your buddies. And, you know, every viewer helps, every share and like, and... yeah, I mean, I don't think at any point I'll make like a lot of money doing this, and it's not my goal. I do enjoy that it helps me, you know, helps me with my hobby. I'm able to do definitely a lot more thanks to my patrons and the guys who support me, and yeah, it's nice that even the big names, you know, when I now talk to them and I'm like, hey, you know, I run this channel, they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of you. And it's good. It's really good because we're starting to build ourselves a name, and hopefully, you know, as I do this, I can get more and more high profile players on here, and then you know, help you guys out, help myself out, and just help Chaos in general. So, and I'll do this as long as I can. I cannot promise I'm going to be around forever. At some point, you know, I'll move back with my wife, and, you know, I'll have to no longer live this bachelor life where I have way too much time on my hands. But my wife is super supportive of the channel, you know. She's the one that bought me, you know, the light rig so that I could do these paint streams better. You know, she supports it. But I think that there'll be a time where, like, she'll be like, you know, you're always doing these streams and everything, and you don't pay attention to me, and I don't want it to be that way. You know, we've been together 10 years, been through a lot of tribulations. She went through my WoW addiction with me, so so yeah. So you guys can see my lightning claws. This nice fade, and it's 3 different shades of blue. So at this point, I can do a bit of white, and I'll probably just do some white on the fingertips, and then that's it. So this is how I like to do like power swords and stuff when I can. If I'm not doing anything that's like just a single solid color. But yeah, it turns out really, really nice. So hopefully you guys enjoy that effect. I like it. I like it a lot. And so for these little plasma tubes on the back here, I'm just gonna, same thing, just lightly brush them with the same blue. And I am going to do a white strip. You met your wife through WoW? Crazy. My wife does not like WoW at all. I tried to get her into it back when when I tried to get her back in. I tried to get her into it when I was playing it, and she totally did not like it. So no, that's good. I think it's pretty funny because I'm an instructor right now by trade with the military. So I guess a little bit of that comes through in my videos. So thank the U.S. Military a little bit for that one. But yeah, so it's pretty. I like that. I think it's funny. It's funny that I do it as a hobby, the same thing that I do, you know, in real life. So. And so I'm taking a third blue just around some parts of the model here. Just kind of lightly touching it. It's the same exact combo that I used for the power swords. But it doesn't have the same effect, because if you look at the claw versus my robes here, because I do a lot of washing and stuff and I use darker blues on the claws, it doesn't look the same, you know. And so you can actually tell, like, the when I washed it here, it didn't completely like wash the area, but I'm fine with that. because if anything, it gives like different tones to the cloth. I don't want them to look perfect by any means. So I'm happy with it. You know, if you're a perfectionist, it might drive you freaking batty, but yeah, no, I'm glad that you guys are using the Tacticas, and I'm glad more people are finding us, you know, through the Tacticas and whatever means. That Death Guard Tactica is definitely my most popular video by far. I think it's got over double the views of the next highest video. But I do need to revamp it, you know, for the new year and but I need to wait for Psychic Awakening to do it. So we'll see. We'll see. So I'm just hitting around a bit of the robes occasionally, blah, blah, blah. And then I should be done with the blues. And then probably do the flesh tones. No, I really need to do the silvers. So I'll probably do the silvers next. That'll be the next part. So the part I've been avoiding for a little while. But we're there. We've made it. But is there any videos that you guys... I always ask my patrons, like, what do you guys want to see? And everybody's, like, never sure. It's a common question I always ask, too. But nobody knows what they want to see, I guess, until they see it. So, like, battle reports or... I don't know. Battle reports was actually the original reason I made this channel, too. Tactica was actually a secondary idea. I actually did written battle reports for years on Daka Daka. Back in 5th edition, I did a ton of them. I was actually well known for them. And then, you know, quit. Went over to play War Machine. I played War Machine for a while. Same thing, did battle reports, got pretty well known for it. And then I quit War Machine because that community was super toxic. I did not like that community at all. And then, you know, I didn't even play war games for like 2 or 3 years. Then came back to Warhammer, and I was like, you know what? I'll go back to doing written battle reports. And was getting real good at them. And then I realized, you know, I was like, I spend so much time writing these battle reports, you know, and taking pictures. And I got to make sure they're all lined up and proper. And most of the time, you know, I get a ton of views, but like nobody really comments on them or anything like that. They just want to like point out what I did wrong, which trust me, people point out in the battle reports what I do wrong too. But originally why I started the channel, I was like, you know what, I can just do video battle reports and it should be a lot easier. I'll tell you, they are not a lot easier. Well, actually they are. They are, because I just have to edit in some visual things so that way you guys get like the lists and stuff. But other than that, they're actually a hell of a lot easier than a written battle report. Because written battle reports, you have to like think a lot and remember a lot and take a lot of notes. Whereas like a video battle report, I'm telling you what's happening as it's happening, and then I put it on a video. So, Dark Initiative! What the hell, man? What's up? I haven't seen you in a bit, man. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so we've got those going. I've got the blue done there. Now I got to do the super light blue here. Boop, boop. So I'm going to just do a line of the super, super, super light blue right down the center of this plasma on both sides. Boop. And there we go. It's there. Boom and boom. Done and done. All right. So we're to this point. Yes. I know I said to this point many times. All right. Sorry, I got to get my thoughts together. So we did the brown. We're done with the brown. We did the robes. We're done with the robes. I need to do silver, so I still got silver. Well, thank you for stopping in, Mickey. Thank you so much, and I'm glad to see you, man. So I'll talk to you later, obviously. Okay. So, how to beat Tau. Looks at Tau, and I deep strike item. Yeah, so Tau is going to be a different story now. They definitely got a lot of tools. I think that we're going to start seeing like the crisis suit spam thing come back again, which isn't the terrible part about the crisis suits that I'm worried about myself is the Cold Star commanders. Because Cold Star commanders can move 44 inches in a single turn, advance, and still shoot their weapons at ballistic skill 3, which is really powerful. And then that means they can get into those little niches that you've made. Like if you're trying to zone out for deep strikes, they're going to zoom up in there and they can get into you, you know? So that's my worry is the crisis suit spam. Beyond that, though, I think we're going to see basically the same thing. We're going to definitely see those, what is it? They got the relic, what is it? The broadside cannons. We're definitely going to see the broadside cannons. That's going to be powerful as hell. Oh man, yeah, that is true. Gene Stealer cult players need to be mad. they got some options, but yeah, they're getting the chaos treatment. Them and Tyranids, you know, they both got the chaos treatment. So I'm sorry, you guys. I apologize. Welcome to our world. All right, so we're gonna do the light silver now, and so this needs need to wipe that off, and then we're gonna start with this guy. So, but yeah, no, they Astra Militarum definitely got some good stuff. Talking to TJ, he doesn't think that they're gonna be all that. He said that they kind of doubled down on what they did well already. Which I can see. They got a lot of killy stuff. I think we'll see Scions make a reappearance though, because the beauty of Scions, you know, is that they can deep strike and do all that fun stuff, and they're super killy on the drop, so which is real strong. Because I think that's part of their defensive charm is the fact that you can't kill them if they're not on the table, right? So. But they also won't play good into Marines because then you have stuff like Auspex Scan and yada yada yada. You also have the anti-deep strike bubbles from all that stuff. So, oh, that sucks, man. Well, I mean, hopefully you've been listening to like Art of War and those channels because they just had an interview with what's his name, Eric Lathoris. But I guess he's a really good Gene Stealer cult player, and he did really well against Marines, playing like basically a super unconventional like list where he doesn't care what you kill, he just slowly grinds you down throughout the game, you know. So I mean, it's definitely a clever list. I like it. I like it a lot because he's not pigeonholing himself into the traditional Gene Stealer cult play where you know you've got these super killy bombs that's all you really do. And I still think stuff like the Killer Morph and the Sanctus are really strong models. It's just the rest of the army kind of... And Gene Stealer Cult's just a traditionally very, very hard army to play. Like, they made that army such a high skill cap, which I love. I love to face a good Gene Stealer Cult player because it's a very tactically driven game, you know what I mean? So... Yeah, drown the enemy in his own blood. Yes, taste my blood. Taste my blood. As I die, you will die with me. Yeah, basically. But I really liked his list. I thought it was really clever. So I'm not too savvy on Gene Stealer Cult because we literally have like 2 players here. And one of them was not very good. And then he... dropped Gene Stealer Cult to play other armies that are a lot easier, and you can kind of guess where I'm going with that one. And then the other one, same thing. He was kind of playing them when they were a power army, and he's a meta jumper. He never did really well with Gene Stealer Cult, and I think it's because he never gave like. He didn't play enough practice games with them to get good at them. He just kind of relied on people not knowing them to win games. So he never did like incredibly well, and now he plays Iron Hands. So, and that's the extent of our Gene Stealer Cult players. there's a couple guys out in Raleigh that play Gene Stealer Colts, but they haven't been running them lately. I think that I'll see a few more now. Now that a few people have kind of figured out a list that might possibly work, maybe the few guys here will start playing them again, which I would enjoy. I would enjoy to get them on the channel, get some Gene Stealer Colt battle reports in. So for you guys just joining me, because I just saw a huge uptick, that means people got off work or people are finally tuning in. So right now I am highlighting all the silver on all my models here. So we're doing Cultists, Obliterators, and 2 Headquarters. So they're re-rolling 1s and morale in bonkers. What are you talking about? What are we talking about with Slaanesh and re-rolling 1s and what? What are we talking about? I'm so confused right now. Illuminate me, good sir. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I don't know. I don't know these things. Sorry guys, I'm kind of hyper right now, so. Kind of hyper, which is good, I guess. I think I'm mostly excited that I'm getting close to getting these models done. Right now I'm waiting on my Necrosius model to come in. Yes, I know if you guys are watching this after the live stream, I've repeated this probably like 4 times. But yeah, so I'm waiting on the Necrosius model to actually finish this list out. I ordered him off eBay. Somebody was selling him super cheap. He's actually missing components, which I'm fine with. It's like his spear tip or something. So, which is fine with me because you can make a spear tip out of pretty much anything. So when he gets in, I'll actually be able to paint him up. Oh, you're talking about the banner. You're talking about banners, which, by the way, all demon units have that. By the way, that's part of what made Plague Bearers so damn strong for a while there, is because they actually have a way to roll 2d6 and you pick the lowest. The only crappy part is if you fail your leadership, you lose one more additional model, but but it doubled your chances of rolling that 1, you know. Me, personally, it never worked for me. You'll actually see me run the guy's named Sloppity Biopiper in battle reports, and I would actually rage when he wouldn't work, because he didn't work for like 10 games straight. And I just felt like I was blowing points running this dude, because he doesn't do anything else. Like, he can't kill things in close combat. He doesn't cast spells. Like, literally his whole job is to keep your Plague Bearers running around, and he didn't do his job any of those games. So since nope, all of them. Yeah, if you look it up, everybody has the icon. So all the troop units and some of the elite units. So I think it's like for Slaanesh, it's the Seekers. Is it the Seekers that are the mounted cavalry? For Nurgle, Slaanesh's thing is to always fight first. Yeah, it's like Quicksilver Swiftness or something like that. But also, Slaanesh also has Advance and Charge all the time if you're within 6 inches of a character, which can be really strong if you're going to be running stuff like Keeper of Secrets, or some of the more powerful HQs like the Contorted Epitome. Contorted Epitome makes that real strong. Stuff like that. And it also applies to anything that's a demon that's Slaanesh, even if it's not Slaanesh demons. So, as an example, you know, Possessed for Chaos Space Marines, you can use it on that. So, I mean, there's a lot of fun combos you can do. That's kind of the fun thing about Chaos, is that you can soup and do these crazy combos between armies, and we're kind of the only people that do that. So, yeah, Seekers and Demonettes, and then for Nurgle, it's the Plague Riders. I don't think Plague Toads can get it. The Forge World Plague Toads. I don't think they get the comeback banner. But Plague Bears get it. Horrors can get them. so on and so forth. Hey, what up, Chris? What up, man? Exalted Chariots, they just die so fast. I know I talked them up real big in my my Tactica on them, but every time I face them or seen them on the table, they don't do nearly as well as I thought they would on paper. So, me personally, I don't own any, but I know a lot of people who do run Slaanesh demons around here. So, what's if? Are we talking about Imperial Fists? Don't talk about Imperial Fists in my channel. I will stab you. I will fight you. Damn Imperial scums. Where's Custodian Sloth at? he's my resident Alpha Legion / Imperial scum. But yeah, I mean, Slaanesh Demons, hopefully they'll get a huge boost in Psychic Awakening, so. Yeah, such nice models. What do I like about Tzeentch? Is that your question, Chris? I would imagine that W is supposed to be... the W is supposed to be a Z. Like, what do you mean? What do I like about Tzeentch? What models do I like? What units do I like? Gotta elaborate. I'll totally answer that question because Tzeentch is my second favorite god. Slaanesh is my least favorite god. That's my personal thing, though. Don't take that as gospel there, Dark Initiative. If you like Slaanesh, you run Slaanesh. At least you're running Chaos. That's all I care about. Okay, so what units do I like of Tzeentch? So I take it that you're talking about demons, Tzeentch demons. So while you're typing, I can kind of talk to that while I'm painting this guy. Oh crap, he's got like a little nubby on the edge of his thing. Let me cut that off real quick. Yeah, all right. Anyways, so Tzeentch demons. So my overall favorite Tzeentch demon of all time, and this will remain forever so, is the Lord of Change. Now, competitively, the Lord of Change doesn't really have much play right now because of Grey Knights existing. So if Grey Knights did not exist, I would 100% say run out by Lord of Change. He's my favorite. I love him to death. It's my favorite model too. In all of 40K, it is by far my favorite model. I just love the dragon bird look, and the kit comes with so many bits and bobs. Like, I'm so happy I finally went and bought one, and I put a lot of work into mine. You know, if you haven't seen it, I can show you mine. I love showing off my models, especially my favorite ones. He's probably one of my favorite ones that I've painted too. But so he's really cool. Pink Horrors, obviously. Pink Horrors are amazing. They have a lot of uses between, you know, their firepower is not the greatest right now because Marines just kind of ignore it. I've ran them a bunch of times into Marines just to test it out. Because theoretically, 90 shots, even though you're hitting on 4s, but you're re-rolling 1s, you should be able to do something, but I haven't been able to do much against Marines. And my buddies like to roll their saves, but so yeah, I mean, they have mass firepower, and then the fact that you can split. I've been seeing a lot of people running splitting lists because the splitting is really powerful for the fact that you can choose whether or not you want to. So if you build the list to be able to summon stuff and to be able to split, it gives you that tactical flexibility to just do various things, you know. Now, if you're going to do that, you want to run, obviously, different demons, different types of demons. That way you kind of have more of a variety than just Tzeentch. But Flamers of Tzeentch are really, really good. They're super amazing into hordes, and they can do a tremendous amount of firepower. They're basically like super heavy Flamers. So those are good. What else? Oh, crap. I forgot the brown here. LOL. So I'm going to have to come over here and... See, this is where I forget stuff. I got to come back and touch up the brown here. So where was I at? Tzeentch Demons, yes. The Chariots are meh. Wouldn't really recommend them. I have 2 of them. I have yet to play with them. And yeah, I mean, what else do you want to know about Tzeentch? So Flamers, Lord of Change, Horrors. Horrors are kind of it. Oh, and Changecaster. You have to have at least 1 Changecaster. And the Changeling. Yeah, definitely want to go get the Changeling. So the neat thing is, too, the Changeling also works on Tzeentch Demons that are not Tzeentch Demons. So we're talking about, like, if you run Possessed, Demon Engines, there's a lot of things that you can do with it. So, which can be incredibly powerful to give, just pretty much everything a 6-up Feel No Pain. A lot of people use it with Magnus, so, which Magnus is a Tzeentch Demon technically, so you could run Magnus. But, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. Sadly, demons right now, I'm in a holding pattern regarding demons just because I want to see what we get in Psychic Awakening. That's going to definitely determine a lot of things. What was it? The Bandolier I had to come highlight. But that's going to determine a lot of things for demons in general, From what I'm being told, we're going to be very happy with what we get. But that's yet to be seen because we haven't seen anything. So I hope that we're going to be happy because demons are definitely one of my favorite armies. So just compared to you, yeah, Nurgle is definitely my favorite too. Nurgle overall, this edition has been the most competitive, and it's just because, and I'll tell you strictly speaking, it's because they're hard to fucking kill. The fact that Nurgle is just so hard to remove, you can build around that core army where you just have this immobile blob of stuff that you can't handle. They have to hammer through this blob, and then behind that blob, you've got the killy stuff. So you just have this constant pressure. You can, maintain board control and stuff like that. That's why Nurgle's been so dominant this edition. And we saw a few flashes, people trying out Slaanesh here and there, and doing okay. Like we had Richard Cozart win an event, run Demonettes and stuff, but that was kind of like a one-off fluke, because he didn't win anything after that. So, but I've heard he's a really, really good player. So, but yeah, I mean, stuff like that. What kind of CSM are you running? Like what legion? And what's your general idea with your CSM? That's probably a more valid question. So right now I'm coming through. I'm touching up the Terminator's fists and stuff. Highlighting his bolter. Highlighting the tips of his tusks there. And then I did all that. Oh yeah, no, and that's also why Death Guard is really good too. It's just Death Guard, you pay a premium, and Death Guard's really slow. And then Death Guard also is hindered by the fact that their long-range firepower, if you don't go into Forge World, is freaking terrible. I mean, we have now that the points have dropped on the Mephitic Blightholler, I mean, that it's arguably alright, but it's just not super, super reliable, Alright, so we got that guy. I've highlighted him, so he's highlighted. So now I get to do the obliterators. This is where the majority of the silver highlighting is going to come into play. So let's go ahead and get to it. I need more silver. So okay, so you're going Alpha Legion obliterators. So Alpha Legion Slaanesh obliterators, I take it? So are you trying Tzeentch Demons as more of a screening role? Like, what are you trying with that? Or is it just kind of a side project that you just kind of want to start buying stuff for? Which, don't get me wrong, I need no reason to go buy models that I love. So, like I just went and bought Forge World. Notice the quotation marks. I went and bought a bunch of Terminators. I bought 10 Death Shroud Terminators, and I bought 10 of the Tzeentch Horus Heresy Terminators. And I'm going to turn the Tzeentch ones into Scarab Occult Terminators. I'm going to turn the Death Shroud into just Death Shroud because, that's what they are. And, yeah, I'm super excited. I think I might just run a Termicide list just to see what I can do with it. All the Terminators. Because now I'll have 10 Blight Lords, 10 Scarab Occult Terminators, 10 normal Terminators, and 10 Death Shrouds. Okay, side project. Yeah, so me personally, if it's just a side project and you're just trying to gather up models, buy a Lord of Change. So the problem with doing the pink horror thing is when you think about GK, they do 4 damage every smite. So if you're putting horrors out there to try to board control and screen, they're just going to pick them up in mass. So while TJ, I talked to TJ and he's running it, the horrors are actually secondary to the Poxwalkers. He actually wants you attacking the Poxwalkers, like for his GK matchup. That's kind of where he's at. Or he might shove the horrors out front, force you to smite the hell out of them, then use all of his, because he's going to spend CP and stuff to do the dead walk again. But what he's trying to do is basically stop you from smiting. So if the GK decide not to smite, then, he wins. And then if you decide to smite, well, he's going to go ahead and remove a bunch of horrors and then turn them into Poxwalkers, which is super, super clever. I like that idea a lot. Yes, 1 smite kills 4 models. That's what Grey Knight does. They love to fight demons. So it's super powerful. And I think TJ has a solid idea with what he's doing to counter Grey Knights. Me personally, I'm running Poxwalkers and a bunch of Psychers for my list. That's actually what I'm paying these dudes for. Is that for that tournament that I'm taking these guys to? These are my obliterators. So I'm running a ton of sorcerers. So I'm running 1,000 Suns, Supreme Command, I'm running Necrosius, and I'm running Typhus. So what it does is it gives me 10 denies going into the field. So if the GK want to go ahead and start casting a bunch of spells, I have plenty of cancels. So yes, I might not be able to cancel everything, but I can hopefully cancel at least a few things and reduce that damage output, That's kind of what I'm thinking of. Yeah, 1,000 Suns Supreme Detachment. So, and obviously you got to take Arimon and all the fun stuff. But, yeah, I mean, hopefully it'll work well. I mean, I haven't played tested at all. I've actually taken 3 weeks off of the game. So I have not played since the Grey Knight stuff dropped. I played in a tournament. So I played in a tournament, didn't do well. So I had to take a break for a few weeks. And then, but yeah, that's my idea going into it, is to basically, I cannot beat the Grey Knight's damage output as far as, now I'm going to have high psychic damage output myself. But I'm hoping that, with 10 cancels, depending on how they roll, I'll have a chance to at least cancel a few things and stunt some of that stuff, But that's my idea going into it. We'll see. We'll see in practice whether or not it works. And then I think the list will play really well into like Marines, mostly because, I've got all the Poxwalkers, so I can just kind of hide with my Poxwalkers and all these casters. So long as they don't have a ton of eliminators, I'll definitely be good. I'll be good on the resiliency front, because a lot of my characters have feel no pain or super high invulnerable saves, so I can hide out from the eliminators, and he won't really be able to pick up characters very quickly. And then I got some lords. So both of my lords are very sturdy. One's a jump pack lord, so that way he can travel really fast. The other one's a Terminator lord, so that way if you want to go ahead and shoot your eliminators at Terminator lord, have fun. He shouldn't die on average, but I've seen what averages do. And yeah, we'll see how the list works. I'm really excited to test it out, and I'm excited to get these things finished painting, because I've been using these obliterators a lot lately, and they've been half painted for going on like 4 months, or 3 or 4 months. But now finishing them up. So. But yeah. What list ideas are you trying out? I like hearing other people's ideas too. Yeah. Also, I need to take a break because my throat's getting dry, and I did not bring water like a dummy, and I've been doing this for like 3 hours without water. I might actually end up I'll probably go pick up some fast food for dinner. It's probably a dumb idea. I need to stop eating out. I got some spaghetti in the fridge. I can eat that. Eat some spaghetti. But, alright. I think I've gotten all the metal highlights out of the way. So yeah, now you guys can see the obliterator in all of his glory. So I need to highlight the tubes. I need to highlight the bone, his little thing in here in the middle, all the tubes. I might put some typhus corrosion around some of these pipes because I don't like all the silver. I want to grime it up some. So I'm probably going to typhus corrosion a little bit around this guy. And yeah, so I guess my next step will be the tubes. So yeah, let's do the tubes. Oh, I didn't know your last name was Bowler. I knew it as Chris. Yeah, you need to build a list to play with, learn the game, and then go from there. Stop buying models. I know, it's very exciting when you start the game to just kind of pick up a bunch of stuff and keep buying. I was guilty of it too when I first started. Same thing when I came back, I was just kind of buying random stuff. But my biggest advice, especially to you new guys out there that are just picking up the game or learning, you definitely want to get down, play the game, learn some stuff, because while in theory, regardless of how much you read, how much you study, how much you theory craft and blah 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 blah, practical experience teaches you the most. You could read blogs all day and whatever, but until you've put models on the table, you've learned how they feel, you're not going to know what you like to play. So is to own every model. That might be your goal right now until you realize how many models are out there and how much of every model you need to own. I mean, it's not a bad life goal. It's better than, my life goal is to smoke all of the pot in the world or something. I don't know. You might, I don't, never have done anything, and, being in the military, I can't, but I don't think I ever will. So I've known a lot of people who are big into that sort of stuff, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, but it is a better life goal than something like that, Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and highlight the tubes. So I mixed up the Incubi Darkness with a bit of white, and what it does is it just gives me a lighter version of the Incubi Darkness. And then I'm just going to kind of go around the tubes and just lightly highlighting them. you can definitely get in and like color in the inside of the tubes, you know, if you want to. Me personally, I'm not. I did that on like all my Blight Lords where the tubes are different colors and all that fun stuff. But I realized like you just kind of don't see a lot of the work that you put into them. So now I'm just kind of just about like, oh, let's just highlight them because nobody's really going to notice the tubes too much. So all right. Guilty. Guilty of trying to own every model. Yeah, man. I mean, if you can own every model, that'd be amazing. I wish I knew somebody who owned every model. That way I could just borrow stuff and be instead of buying stuff. So, hey, buddy, can I borrow XYZ? I mean, I know guys that own, you know, my buddy Riddick, I borrowed his Magnus for that one tournament where I took Magnus. My friend John down in Texas, shout out to him. When I didn't bring an army to Texas that one time, you know, he lent me an army. So that reminds me, if I go to Texas, I might be going to Texas here in a little bit. I need to hit him up. So let him know I'm in town. Go have dinner with him. Not gonna have time to play 40K because I'm not gonna be there long, but just say hi to him. I know he's gonna want me to play a game of 40K, but I definitely won't have time this time. So, but at least go see him, see his dog, see his wife, Michelle. Say hi. He's a super good guy. So, I haven't seen him in. Hell, it's been almost a year since I've been back there. So, wow, that's crazy. It's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about the friends that you make and then how long it's been since the last time you saw them. So, yeah, I'll definitely have to swing in and say hi to him. Maybe he'll watch one of my live streams and know that I'm coming. And he'll hit me up. He probably won't, though. I know he's always busy. He's a doctor, so. A doctor of mathematics. So he's definitely a smart guy, so. Yeah. All right, I think I got all the tubes painted. So like I said, for the tubes, I'm just going for the, you know, lightly highlighted. There you go. That's a tube. It's not incredibly painted like by any means, but it just gets some paint on it, makes it look nice. I'm not too fethed about, like, as long as the model itself looks really good, because the core model itself. Oh, I forgot to highlight his cannon. Just realized that. Some highlights on this guy. There we go. Much better. But there we go. Yeah. So you want all your army painted so that it's been holding you back on playing. But also my buddy I normally plays runs Iron Fist and Ultramarines, so my Death Guard has trouble. Yeah. Yeah, Death Guard will definitely have trouble with Marines. I mean, it's not a completely unwinnable situation. You can win with, you know, a difference in player skill, but it's not easy, you know. It really isn't easy. So, and I feel you, man. I 100% feel you. So, Honestly, if you're newer to the game and that's what your buddy wants to play, I would probably say hold off until we get our Psychic Awakening stuff for Death Guard, and just get your stuff painted. You know. Also, it's not bad to have painted models. Like really, it's actually really good to have painted models because when a tournament rolls around, then you're ready to go. So at this point, I'm just putting white in the eyes, a little bit of white on the teeth. I need to get some red on his tongue because his tongue is showing. This is for the Lord, the Jump Lord. So I'm just going to do a smidgen of red, just enough to get on his tongue. I don't need a lot. I think this is the only part that I need red for, is his tongue. Alright, there we go. So you guys can see his face. I got his tongue and his teeth. Alright, so his claws are done. I need to actually highlight his loincloth too. So I'm going to get a yellow out. So I don't need much of this either because there's two guys that have loincloths that need highlighting. And when I highlight yellow, I like it super powdery looking. So, this is me though. Man, I might actually get to the point where I'm done with these guys tonight. That'd be amazing. Be so happy. I won't get them all the way done though, because I need to finish the bases, but I can at least be most of the way there, you know. And so you guys can see I just did some light highlighting on the loincloth there. I'm not super, I'm definitely not an anal painter by any means, so like little things don't bother me. Alright, so there's that. And that. Just get a little bit on the inside there. Voila. Boom. And I don't need it there. He needs some. He needs some yellow. And there's that. So boom. Just got a little bit of highlight on all those guys. I'm done with the yellow. Alright. So for the Chaos Lord here, I need to paint his eyes. I need to dry brush all the bone. And I need to highlight his head. And that's it for him. Oh. No, I don't think I'm going to put any white on the claws. I guess I could put a smidgen of white on the claws. So I'm just putting a smidgen of white on the tips of the claws. That way, just finishes off the blue. That way it's just a little teeny bit of white, you know? Boom. And so I will use a little line highlight of white on all these plasma surfaces, basically. Except for like the arms, I'm just kind of putting like little white marks. It's just to give it a break up the blue a little bit. And it looks really nice on like swords and weapons and stuff like that. So it's just a slight white line. That's basically it. Had a huge uptick in viewers, and now everybody has abandoned me. Aw, sad days. It's all good though. It's all good. All right. Plus, it's about dinner time for a lot of people. So I need to actually get rid of these napkins real quick and get a fresh one. So I'm going to just shove these down there, get them out of the way, get a new one. That way I can start doing the fleshy tones for all these and bone tones. So, got the whites. Oh, I need to do the eyeballs. So this is for like the little eyeballs and the armor and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through. I'm going to hit them with white, like super bright white. And so it's like his knee pad right here. And then there's a few on this guy. Is it him? No. It's this one. So he has a few eyeballs too. And these are the eyeballs I'm going to paint green. So I need to let those dry for a minute. And then I'm going to need a super dark green to put in the center. So, the Terminator eyes. I need to do his eyes too. I want to do the blue. Sorry, I'm thinking right now. Yeah, I think I'll do the blue. Start out with white. And so fill in around. I want it to look like it's glowing a little bit. So filling around that. Now I'm going to do some of the blue. That all right. Ooh, just popped my back. Oh man. All right. So I'm gonna use this yellow a little bit. I'm gonna highlight the little center gem on these guys. Need to actually get. All right. There's that. I think somebody else had a center gem. Maybe not. Is it him? Nope. And it wasn't him, was it? Nope. Oh, these guys had... no, I'm good with them. Alright. So there's that. Oh, it was right here. Now I remember where it was at. So... Alright, there's that gem. Got all the cannon highlighted. Alright. So I guess I should do the bony bits. Oh, I need to do the fleshy bits on this guy because he actually has some fleshy bits. A few of these do actually. So that's where the super light pink comes into play. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to basically dry brush this by wiping it off on my thing here. And then Just kind of splotch it a little bit wherever. So there's actually not too many fleshy bits on this guy. Just that mouth there. Because all of his musculature I did all like fleshy colors. So that mouth there is fine. And that mouth there is fine too. Alright, cool. Very, very cool. Whew, man, oh man. Making a lot of progress actually. This is a lot further than I thought I was going to get tonight. So now I guess I got to start doing these highlights. So, all right, we're going to start with the Tyrant Skull. So this is what I use for all the bone, and then this is also what I'm going to use for the cloth on my Cultists. So for the Cultist cloth, I'm just going to gently dry brush it over the clothy areas. So this is really good for like bandages. It is like a bone white, but when you use it on bandages and stuff, it makes it look like a band-aid. So it's really, really good for that. Because these guys actually have like wristbands and stuff that I just painted like bandages wrapped around their wrists and arms. So I'm just going to lightly highlight these guys. I'm not getting too into these guys. I just want it to make those bandages look like they have multiple tones and not just a wash and that's that. So now I'm not going to highlight the weapon handles for the... Oh, I need to highlight these daggers too. I'm not going to highlight the weapon handles for the their little like baseball bats because I actually really like the tone that it took on from the wash. So I'm going to just leave it because it makes it almost look like a wooden baseball bat, you know, which I'm fine with that. So hopefully whoever's out there is still enjoying this. Sorry, I was getting zoned out a little bit. You start getting tired. I'm at 3 hours now of this live stream, so I want to get to the point where basically I can do the bases, you know what I mean? So, which will be really nice because at that point I will just have to do, I can start actually painting Ahriman. So I have a 40k Ahriman that I have not been utilizing because he's not painted. I'll use him sometimes in like battle reports and stuff, but just to use him. But I've been using my 30k Ahriman as a placeholder because he's painted. And so if I can get him painted, that'd be amazing because the 30k Ahriman is also good as a just normal Tzeentch sorcerer. So, or 1,000 Suns like Exalted Sorcerer. Not on, well, Exalted Sorcerers have to be on discs, but you know what I mean. So yeah, so he's really, really good for that sort of stuff. So it'll be nice because then I can use him in multiple roles. And so there's that. Boom, boom, boom. I don't think there's any bone. Nope, no bone white on him. Alright, bone white on the Obliterators, because they actually have a lot of bone. So I'm just going to touch up the toes and claws and horns. And so I just lightly touch them with this Tyrant Skull, just to kind of give it the edge highlighting a bit. And that's that. If you really, really want to like get a cool effect, hit the same area with the Tyrant Skull multiple times, and it'll kind of give it like a faded, graded look, you know? Basically, it'll be super light wherever you touch it the second time. But for me, for these guys, I'm not going to do that. For the like things with big prominent horns, like my Plague Bearers, that's when I do the multiple layers of the Tyrant Skull. But for these guys, Like it's just to get a bit of shading on the tips of these skulls and the horns and stuff, and that's that. So at that point, you know, the obliterators are pretty good. I actually do want to highlight their flesh too, so that's going to be something that I'm going to do, save that for last, you know. And so for this obliterator, now he actually has a skull on his pauldron here, so I need to make sure I highlight that pretty good. And this guy actually has toes, so just hitting it up, getting the edge highlighting on these. No, don't do it. Do not do it. Defilers are not very good. Even with all the buffs and stuff, I have 2 of them, and every time I put them on the field, I feel super disappointed. So I love demon engines to death, man, but definitely not a beginner army. It is not a beginner-friendly army at all. You're going to lose a lot of stuff. They're going to miss a lot of the time. You're going to feel like they just underperform all the time, and they do. They actually underperform quite a bit. The only ways to make them super viable and reliable is to run like a Lord Discordant. So, and a Lord Discordant that is not Alpha Legion, in my opinion, is a dead Lord Discordant. So, yeah, if that's the route you want to go, though, that would be my suggestion. I ran demon engines a lot, so I have a lot of experience with defilers and venom crawlers and all that sort of stuff. Venom crawlers are my favorite. I think they're the most underrated demon engine, and by far probably the best demon engine. So, in my opinion. I mean, if you want to run demon engines, yes. But I'll tell you, demon engines do not perform well right now. So, be prepared to be disappointed. They are pretty fun to run, though. But yeah, they take a lot of work to operate appropriately, you know. So, I mean, I went 3-1 or 3-1-1 with my demon engines, so which was actually really impressive, I guess. But yeah, I really hope, you know, Nurgle or Death Guard and stuff gets something really cool, because I want to run Nurgle as my keyword for this season, but I need to wait and see what they get with demons and Death Guard. So once I know that stuff, I'll get on that bandwagon. So back on that bandwagon. There you go. Hopefully demon engines become viable again, but I doubt it. They weren't really viable when I ran them either. It happened to get pretty lucky and get a pretty good score with them. So, but like I said, run what you want to. I'm going to tell you, though, you're going to be highly disappointed and you're going to get discouraged, because you're probably going to lose a whole lot against a lot of people. So, it is not a noob-friendly army at all. The demon engines, anyway. All right, and so there's the white teeth, or the white highlight, and now I'm on the flesh highlight, so yeah. Okay, there's that. I'm going to set it off to the side just in case I missed something, and then now we're on the flesh highlight. So I use Eldar flesh. It's super pink, so I mean it's good for human skin, but yeah. But I've had good results with this stuff, so. Alright, so there's there's that for him. I don't think any of these guys need the pink. No, he's got bones and stuff. Nope. Nope, he doesn't need it. Nope, he doesn't need it. So these guys all need it though. I mean, what do you own, Chris? you seem to be stuck in the I'm going to build a bazillion lists phase, which is actually very, very, very common with new players. My opinion, especially because I don't know when you want to do a starter game or whatever, because I have offered you one, but my opinion, build a 1,000-point list that you feel like won't necessarily be competitive, but might be fun to play out of stuff that you own. And then that's what you want to play for a little while. Like, play at least probably 6-7 games with it. That'll give you an idea at least of how to play, kind of the things to revolve your army around, you know. And then obviously, if something really doesn't suit your fancy, like you play 2 games with it and you're like, I really don't like this, then that's when you like swap something up. But don't just swap it up after 1 game. Unless like it's so incredibly like terrible, like you absolutely hate what you ran to the point where you can't see yourself playing it ever again. And then in which case, you know, change it. You listened? You have 3 Venom Crawlers? Venom Crawlers are fun. They're definitely fun. And it's super amusing when they start eating things. Start healing back a bazillion wounds. Yeah, more or less. That's more or less how you play those. You keep a Disco Lord nearby until they can actually get into something, and then they can go spread and do what they do best, which is do a lot of damage at close combat. So, but the Excruciator Cannons do a lot of damage. It actually takes a lot of people by surprise just how much damage those things can do. I know my buddy Alex, when I played the Demon Engines and he played as Eldar Flyers, was just like, what the hell just happened? He's like, yep, I'm sorry. Part of that was my dice, though. Not gonna lie. I rolled a lot of 6s when I shouldn't have been rolling 6s. So, but it happens. So this guy, I forgot to paint his eyes, so I'm going to come in and paint his eyes with a bit of white. Bit of white, so he does have eyeballs now. And then this guy, let me paint his flesh first. Man, oh man, we're almost done with these. At least to the point where I can base them and call them done. So, which I'll base them and all that stuff tomorrow, off camera. Probably watch some Dragon Ball Z or something. Dragon Ball Super, because that's what I'm watching right now. Not Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. 2 different shows. Rewatching it all. I went and opened a Crunchyroll account just to rewatch the whole series because I watched it when it came out 2 years ago, and I'm a big fan, big fan of Dragon Ball in general. So I'm really happy. The 20th of every month they still bring out the manga, so I'm waiting for the new series to actually kick off, which I'm surprised they haven't announced it yet because it was like the highest selling anime of like a while. So and the movie did really well for Brawly. That's the last thing we've seen. So, which that Brawly movie was badass. Not gonna lie. I was like a little kid. Like, wee. So. Did I miss calls or anything? No. I got a text message, so. Who text messaged me? Oh, she called me at 7? Oh, crap. All right. Okay, well, at this point, everybody, I've just got a few nitnoid bits to do. I'm going to color in the eyes real quick of this guy. So coloring in his eyes real quick. And then from there, it's just details. Details, and I actually need to highlight the flesh on the obliterators. So, and that is something that I'm going to do tomorrow. I need to actually figure out what color I want to do that with. It's probably going to be like a pale pink, or pale purple. Oh yeah, that'll work. Like if I mix that with some white or something. But, yeah. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I mean, we got a lot of work done. I've got 10 cultists that are pretty much to the point of basing them. I'm going to do like one last look over them tomorrow with fresh eyes and just make sure I didn't miss anything that I really wanted to hit up. Got to finish the eyes on this Terminator Lord, but he's pretty much done. You know, got to put some base paint on him. The Lord, you know, just got to finish up his head and do the little details on his face. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much have this list done, which is going to be amazing. So I will definitely share pictures of this stuff on Discord tomorrow. So if you guys are not a member of the Discord, join us. But I will see you guys next time. I'm going to hang it up, give my wife a call back because I did not realize I missed her call. And yeah, and hopefully see you guys on the live stream on Sunday. So hopefully you guys enjoyed hanging out with me. I'll see you guys next time.